the game, make a fast start. I mean, that is an understandable hope that the manager has. Will that largely be down to Atletico Madrid as to whether they're able to do that?
Yeah, because as Aidan says, Atletico Madrid are a better team. They're playing in their own backyard where they've got a terrific record. They've got their own motivations tonight. And I think if Celtic make a fast start and start dictating the tempo, then that would be quite something against this team. So it'd be lovely to see it. It'd be lovely to see Celtic come out and be confident and truly believing that they can win the game. That's the kind of mental battle, is the first battle that they have to win. Almost a battle against themselves. And if they win that, then have they got a chance of a point? Yeah, they have a chance of a point. I don't think they're going to win this game. I'd be staggered if they win this game. But have they got a chance of a point? At their very best, yes, they have. But you go back to the record in Europe, and they have put some, against Feyenoord and Lazio, as the lads were saying, they put a lot into both of those games, a lot of good stuff in those games. And it's easy to say, oh, you know, and the Atletico Madrid game, obviously, the last day, huge amount of good stuff in that game. It's easy to say, well, you know, we deserve more. I think Brendan Rodgers said yesterday, we deserve more. I'm not sure it's about deserve, you know. I think you get what you get. And Celtic red cards cost them. A few missed chances cost them. And though it's those first two games, Feyenoord and Lazio, against Feyenoord, a good side, admittedly away from home, Lazio, gettable, they didn't get enough points. I mean, if you got 4 points from those opening two games, they're sitting in a very promising position now. So you could talk about the whys and the wherefores and the ins and the outs. They didn't get the job done in those two games. That's why they are where they are. Nothing is easy here. Everyone knows it's brutally hard. But, you know, you'd hope Celtic would be, tonight, see a bit more. And if they get the chances, take them. If they get an opportunity to rattle Atletico, take it. Don't let them off the hook. You know, they've taken the lead 3 times in this group, and they haven't won a game yet.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that kind of little, I don't know if it's lapses of concentration, but it's caught them out, you know, and you hope that tonight, if they get in a position to damage Atletico, that they take it and they see it through. It's easier said than done, isn't it?
On the other hand as well, if you look at it from a different perspective, there's nothing really to lose either.
Well, yeah, I guess.
No, I mean, that's a fair
really
point, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're bottom of the group right now. They know that if they lose, then they're probably out of the Champions League and might even struggle to even stay in Europe after Christmas. So I kind of get what Aidan means.
No, it's when I hesitate slightly, it means if it goes wrong, it can go badly wrong against this team.
Yeah.
And then you've got, if it's a 3 or if it's a bad defeat. Then,
yeah, well, let's not talk about that.
you know,
they don't need to be
pessimistic nature, you know. I mean, it's right, isn't it? If Lazio beat Feyenoord in Rome and Atletico win, then Celtic are really, really in trouble about getting any European football. And that would be them 5 points adrift in bottom place. So, yeah, again, I'll take my lead from Aidan. Let's not go there.
Nothing to lose in terms of why not go front foot. Listen, there's risks and rewards to that, of course there is. But if they play the way they did the first half, the first game at Celtic Park, then I don't think they have anything to lose. Yeah. As long as it's not, let's not mention it, a big defeat.
But they were, weren't they? I mean, I think certainly for the first half against Atletico at home, I thought they were absolutely brilliant to watch. It was high class. It was brilliant fun, and Celtic were tremendous.
Yeah, they were. Celtic played really, really well that game, but as you touched on earlier on, it's gone back to the playing well. But at the end of it, there's got to be points.
You'd rather see them play poorly and win.
Yeah.
A scratchy 1-0
at this stage. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there have been some horror shows against the likes of Barcelona, PSG, Real Madrid in the past. So let's hope nothing like that this evening. 2 matches did take place 2 earlier kickoffs this evening. As I mentioned, Dortmund beat Newcastle United by 2-0 in Group F. Dortmund 7 points, PSG 6, Newcastle 4, and Milan on 2. And in Group H, shock defeat, first defeat for Barcelona, 1-0 against Shakhtar Donetsk. It's looking like a fairly tight group right now. Barcelona 9 points, Porto and Donetsk on 6, Antwerp at the bottom without a point from their 3 matches. Celtic, of course, in Group E as things stands. Feyenoord top with a couple of wins. They've got 6 points. Atletico Madrid 5, 2 draws and the 1 win so far. Lazio have got 4 points and Celtic 1. Of course, Celtic in Madrid to take on Atletico. It's Lazio against Feyenoord in the other match. We'll keep you across that one. But we heard from Liam right back at the start of the programme, the Celtic fans inside the stadium and making plenty noise. Let's hear what some of them had to say as they made their way inside.
We've got a decent chance. I thought we played well in the home game against them, so be happy with the score draw.
Can you see a win?
It's going to be difficult, but I think if we start the way we started in the last game, give ourselves a chance, then yeah, we've got every chance of sneaking it, but it's tough place to come, isn't it? So hopefully, fingers crossed.
How do you feel about the way Celtic have performed over the 3 games up to now?
I think we've played really well, actually. I think we've been competing and we've been in every single game. And I think it's progress from last year. We did well last year, but I see a bit more sort of resolute in defence. I think Brendan's got us playing a slightly more sensible nature and we're not so gung-ho. And I think it's paying off a little bit. Just need the result.
Do you see the way that Celtic have played, that they've proved that they belong at this level?
Definitely. I mean, 3-4 years ago, probably not, but recently we've been really well and we actually deserve to be at this stage, if not Europa League at least.
Do you rate Celtic's chances at all?
Well, I do. I'm always optimistic, ever the optimist. A draw, I think, would be a good result, and we just need some breaks this time. We've had a couple of unlucky games where penalties and decisions have gone against us, offsides. We just need some breaks. Keep it tight, and then I think we'll be okay.
This is a big test, though, going to an environment like this against a really top team.
Well, this is it. This is why you want to be in the Champions League. You've got to test yourself against these sides, and I don't think we're being embarrassed. Feyenoord, bit unlucky, decision sending off. Lazio at home, could have been 2-1 up and ended up losing, and then Atletico 2 each. I mean, we give them a real fright first half. So we've held our own in this company, and this is where you want to be.
Some of the Celtic fans heading in a degree of hope, of optimism as they make their way inside. Can the Celtic players rise to the occasion if they do? If they were to pull off, certainly if they were to pull off a victory, it would be right up there with the best results they have ever had in this competition, certainly in its current guise. As for the team, Liam ran through it earlier. Hart in goal, Johnson, Carter-Vickers, Scales and Taylor, McGregor, Bernardo, O'Reilly, Maeda, Palma and Kyogo. Just on, we touched on Palma. Still very early in his Celtic career. 4 goals already. Has made a bit of an impact. Scored, of course, against Atletico. Had one, maybe, I mean, it was marginal, wasn't it? But he had one ruled out against Lazio. Are we seeing as much from Maeda playing on the right than now that he's been switched over there to accommodate Palma?
In my opinion, probably not. But Maeda you always know what you get off Maeda. He works really hard for the team. He's very unselfish. But Palma seems to be the one that looked now to play on the left, without being an out-and-out winger. But he's got a goal threat. But if you were to put Maeda there, Maeda's also got a goal threat. I'm a winger enthusiast, so I want my wingers to get the ball and drive forward and commit defenders. But listen, he could turn around and say to me, "Well, I score more goals than you." So, that's just my.
You are 37.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. Cheers for mentioning that. But I like the look of Palma. I just think he's still growing into his current form at Celtic, but you can't really argue with. He's scoring goals and he's picking up assists and he's playing well. But the mark for me is always the European stage. The European stage at Celtic. It's to be a top player on the European stage. I think the game against Lazio, there was a lot of times, and I think myself and James and Packy at half time were saying, just go and take somebody on, like be positive. But he answered it because he ended up finishing against Atletico was a great finish and got the team back in the game. I think there's still a lot more to come from him, and he's still very, very young as well. So, but I would just like to see him be a little bit more positive and maybe a little bit more of belief in his own individual ability 1v1.
The big question, I suppose, this evening, Tom, is whether indeed they're going to get the opportunity, or much of an opportunity. It is going to be a case of picking their moments, you feel, against this Atletico Madrid team.
Yeah, I think they'll get chances, Richard. I think they'll create bits and pieces. They might even score. I think this you look at Palma, Maeda, Kyogo. There's goals there. There's pace there. There's work rate. There's a bit of physicality as well. O'Reilly is in good form. McGregor's class. You know, there's a lot in this Celtic team. I think there's a lot of it is upstairs. You know, what kind of mentality are they in going over there? Do they think they can get a job? They can get a result, or will they wilt with that big atmosphere? I'd say the atmosphere will be something special there in that stadium. Will they handle the pressure? Because they are under pressure tonight, because they know if it goes wrong, that could be Europe done for them pretty much tonight. Certainly could be the Champions League done for them, and it could be any hope of Europa League done as well, pretty much. So there is pressure, and maybe that'll give them a bit of intensity, bit of edge. I'm just fascinated to see how they go about it, how they handle it, how they line up. What is Rodgers going to deliver? Is he going to deliver any surprises tonight? It should be really, really enlightening.
The players, I know, they were gathering in the tunnel area. They have just made their way out inside the stadium. I know, going just by the pictures we're watching, it looks a bit special. James was talking about it beforehand, but it was all but empty. Very, very different scenario now. What a remarkable arena it is. We will keep you up to date with what's happening in Lazio Feyenoord, and of course the Premiership encounter between St Johnstone and Motherwell, still goalless in the early stages of that one. But our commentary, of course, comes from the Champions League. It is match day 4 for Celtic. They're in Madrid taking on Atletico in the magnificent Metropolitano. Full live commentary here on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland with James McFadden and Liam McLeod.
Thanks, Richard. Celtic looking for victory on Spanish soil for the first time on match day 4 in Champions League Group E. What a test this will be. Celtic supporters are way up in the heavens off to our left and in good voice. They have been in the Spanish capital over the last couple of days, and there's some visiting supporters dotted around in other areas of the 70,000 capacity Metropolitano, and it really is getting to must-take points territory for Celtic. 1 point only from their 2 home matches. They would have been looking for more than that. Try and set alight Group E. So given the fact they lost to Lazio and could only draw with Atleti last time out, means there's more pressure on this one. And then when they go to Rome to take on Lazio after the international break. Up against an Atletico side that, has to be said, are much more fallible away from home than they are here. Just the one defeat this calendar year inside this stadium, that was to the champions Barcelona. Since then, they've played 17 here. They've won 15 of them and drawn the other 2. The Celtic players are getting ready for their huddle off to our left. Callum McGregor and his opposite captain Koke are exchanging handshakes. The coin toss with the referee Ivan Kruzliak from Slovakia. And we're just seconds away now from match 4 getting underway. Celtic up against the 11-time Spanish champions and 7-time European trophy winners. Played Spanish opposition more than from any other country of Celtic. This is their 40th clash with a side from this country. The Celtic players in their huddle now. The Atleti players is breaking away from a last team talk collectively. We're just about ready to go under the lights here in this magnificent stadium. And what an opportunity it is for the Celtic players to star against one of the best teams in Europe. Hart in goal for them. Johnstone, Carter Vickers, Scales and Taylor, O'Reilly, McGregor, Bernardo, Maida and Palma either side of Kyogo Furuhashi, who plays for Celtic for the 100th time this evening. And it will be the visitors who'll kick off in their all-black change kit with the white flashes going from left to right as we watch up high above the Atletico technical area. And the first pass from O'Reilly goes back to McGregor and out to Greg Taylor on the far side. He's been put under pressure immediately by Ankel Correa, who was a substitute at Celtic Park. He's chasing it as he goes back to Hart, and then Carter Vickers eases it out to Johnstone on the near side. He passes it up the line, but it's gone over for an Atleti throw, about level with the edge of the centre circle. So what they want, James, is a good early feel of the ball. That's a bit of a waste on that occasion, but you can see Atletico, the intent from them. Celtic on the ball, they're right on top of them.
Yeah, Celtic, have a chance to play that ball forward, and it comes to Greg Taylor. Palma had made the advance run. It takes too long, almost gets caught. It goes all the way back to Joe Hart, and as you said, you can see the intent from Atletico. I think previously, Aidan was speaking about it before the game as well. They're a team that like to sit back and defend, but the way they're starting this game is they're going to be aggressive in that press, try and force mistakes early for Celtic and try and capitalise on it. And look, Celtic are going to have to deal with this. A fast start is, generally you would say getting shots, getting, chances to attack, but also, if Atletico are coming here with the intention to go and press, then keep the ball, knock it about, feel your way into it, show that you're comfortable in that scenario, and try and ride it out, because Atletico are the team that look like they want to go and get that first goal, and Celtic have to combat that.
Celtic on the ball here with Johnstone. Griezmann tries to close him down. Johnstone rolls it to Maida. Right hand side of the Atletico penalty. It was a heavy touch, allowed Koke in to make the challenge. The home team get it away. McGregor with the cushion header into the centre circle for Scales, who finds Carter Vickers, and out to Johnstone on this near side. Johnstone making the move towards the Atletico box. Short ball to Maida. He's managed to free himself of Hermoso at the byline. Crosses in, but it's booted to safety there by the Uruguayan. Jimenez back fully fit, back in the team, having missed the game in Glasgow. That's a bit more promising from Celtic in an attacking sense there.
Yeah, it is. It's terrific play from Maida, but he's got loads of time. It's a really poor cross from him. He hits the first man, but really good play, and so often we see it, they speak about Maida playing on the right, but when you've got that combination of Johnstone and Maida down this right hand side, then it'll cause teams problems.
Scales has at the edge of the centre circle, rolled to Taylor. Taylor out onto the touchline for Palma, who got that spectacular second goal against Atletico a couple of weeks ago. Gets it back to Taylor, level with the penalty spot. It finds O'Reilly just inside the area, just kind of spun off O'Reilly's toe, and it breaks back to Scales, to McGregor, and then over to Liam Scales again over on that far side. Side foot ball forwards cut out, and it breaks to Axel Witsel, the former Belgium international, who we grew accustomed to seeing in the midfield engine room for the Red Devils of the international scene. Now deployed as a centre-back as Johnstone goes in strongly down in this near side. The referee was happy with the challenge on Riquelme, and it was out of play on this near side for a Celtic ball, throw-in right in front of the Atletico coaching staff. But Simeone is not happy with the challenge by Johnstone on Riquelme.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Simeone's ever happy, but I think it's a brilliant challenge from Johnstone. Times it really well. The referee's got a great position, and then, Celtic go and try and drive up the pitch, but that's what's going to be needed. Atletico are a team that will fly into those challenges as well. I think, Johnstone gets that spot on, and I think the referee's, right to let that go.
Atletico have won the Cup Winners' Cup. They've won 3 Europa Leagues, 3 Super Cups, 2 Champions League finals, 3 European Cup finals all told. The Celtic supporters of a certain vintage know all too painfully that one in 1974, and Atletico wheeled out a few of the stars of that team that so enraged the Celtic fans and the team back in the day. Ahead of kick-off, and it's an Atletico throw-in over on that far side, level with the edge of the centre circle, and the Atleti right. Charged down by Palma, and out it goes for another throw over there. Nahuel Molina, one of the stars of Argentina's run to the World Cup a year ago. It's back to Witsel. First time, long ball with the right foot. Underneath it's Carter Vickers, manages to ease it out to Taylor on the left-hand side. He works a quick exchange with McGregor. Goes back to Scales, who pushes it back onto the touchline on the left for Taylor. His pass forward was weak, and it's straight to Jimenez. We've played 4.5 goalless minutes so far. It's up to Morata on the halfway line to Correa, who's on the turn looking to return it to Morata. It's blocked, I think, by McGregor, and I think that's going for a corner. It is the first corner of the game, goes Atletico's way. Correa's already out there to take it.
Yeah, and Atletico, there is a slice of fortune within it. But Greg Taylor's got a chance to play the ball. He's trying to play. Kyogo peeled off the back of the centre-back, almost looking for the diagonal. Greg Taylor tries to play the ball into feet. It's cut out and allowing Atletico to then go and, attack at Celtic, and they've now got a great chance from this corner kick.
Going to go to McDermott Park for an update in just a moment, but we'll wait for this Griezmann corner. As it is, Correa's taking up a place at the near post, and it comes, but it's straight through to Hart. Why has he not caught that? Punches it down into the ground, and it breaks out to this left-hand side for Riquelme. Taking on Maida, sliding in Johnstone. It's out for a throw-in to Atletico, level with the Celtic 6-yard line on this near side. Still the attack, so we will go to Perth just in a moment. It's bowled back the way by Riquelme, gets it back immediately from Hermoso. His cross comes in, it's half away. Griezmann shoots and scores! 18 yards out, and Antoine Griezmann finds the bottom right corner. Having scored in Glasgow 2 weeks ago, he scored early here in the Spanish capital, and Celtic's challenge in the Metropolitano has just got a whole lot more difficult. It's Atletico Madrid 1, Celtic 0.
It sure has, Liam. Callum McGregor with the header at clearance, and he just heads it into the middle of the pitch where Griezmann stood. He should be trying to head that wide and away from danger. It's a brilliant first touch. I think there's a slight deflection that takes it beyond Joe Hart, but nonetheless a great touch and hit from Griezmann. And the disappointment for Celtic is they haven't been able to clear it, because Callum McGregor had time to try and maybe find his teammate but get that ball wide, and the deflection has obviously caught out Joe Hart, who can't make a move until the ball has that deflection. But it's a dream start for Atletico.
A nightmarish start for Celtic. Let's go to McDermott Park. There's been a goal there, Andy Burke.
And it's a great start to the Craig Levine reign. St Johnstone leading by a goal to nil. A corner whipped in from the left-hand side. Nicky Clark rising highest to nod home. It was oh so easy for St Johnstone from a Motherwell perspective. A real bit of bad defending, and they've got another chance here to make it 2-0, and it's fired just over the bar there from Chris Kane. But St Johnstone having the better of it so far. They lead by a goal to nil.
Celtic a goal down here early, scored by Antoine Griezmann. And it's back with Carter Vickers at the edge of his box to Maida, flicks it forward to O'Reilly. They hadn't made a terrible start to this game, Celtic. That's what's going to infuriate Brendan Rodgers, the concession of the goal coming when they'd settled pretty well. As Palma comes down the left-hand side, and he'll win a corner of his own, I think. And the referee eventually signals for a goal kick. Took his time over that one, didn't he?
Yeah, it did. Palma was convinced it was a corner. It's very difficult to see, for as good as this stadium is. We're absolutely miles away from the action. But yeah, listen, Celtic have started okay in the game. It goes back to that Greg Taylor pass where it's a very difficult pass. Kyogo's not on that side of the pitch. Atletico win it back, and they do get a slice of fortune in getting the corner kick. It comes from that, that forced pass when it didn't have to be played. And then, defensively, again, not clearing the lines properly. And you can't, if there's one player in this Atletico Madrid team you don't want to drop it at the edge of the box, it's Griezmann. He takes a brilliant touch. There is a slight nick on it, and Joe Hart is helpless. But yeah, I think in terms of the play, if you look at it now, every Celtic player's in the Atletico half, and Celtic have the ball. So they've still, they've started with that confidence. But if there's one team that can defend a 1-0 lead if they have to, it's Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, Celtic have to come from behind against one of the best defences European football's ever seen. Wonderful record defensively, Atletico. Not so on Friday, as they were beaten 2-1 by Las Palmas in the league. And Scales tries to win it back at the edge of his own box off Correa. He does that, finds Taylor up the line, and it's slipped in field by Bernardo, and now picked up at the edge of the centre circle by O'Reilly. Long ball forward, it's cut out though. Breaks back to Atletico. Griezmann has it. He's played it straight back off. Matt O'Reilly, or is it Paul? It's Bernardo, it is. They both look so similar from away up here. There's the numbers now. As it comes back to Scales, left of the centre circle for McGregor. Then on to the left, it's Taylor. It's a relatively decent reaction to going behind here, Celtic, but Atletico are one of these teams that they'll let you have some of the ball. A lot of the Spanish sides, when you come away with European teams at this level, will come at you from minute 1 to 90.
Yeah, I mean, they just say that, you know, they're a team that focus so much on the defensive side of the game, but they still have quality. You know, you watching Morata chase down Scales. Morata doesn't need to be heavily involved. If he gets a chance, more likely he'll take it. His movement's outstanding. And you've got the quality of Griezmann, and it's a team of players that are very, very good on the ball, very comfortable, but work so hard for the team. And if they have to go and defend and sit behind the ball, every single player on that side is really happy doing it. But when they get a chance to break, they do look really dangerous. Celtic they've done well, you know, to compose themselves. They're still knocking the ball about. They're not forcing anything, but they're gradually creeping back. And Atletico are almost pushing them back with territory, allowing, you know, Celtic to have the ball so that they can potentially nick it in around the box.
Griezmann scoring yet again for Atletico. He's over 160 goals for the club now in his second spell after his sojourn at Barcelona. As Johnstone finds Maida, and as we're hearing from Andy, Nicky Clark, after his heroics against Kilmarnock last midweek, has seen Johnstone 1-0 up on Motherwell and McDermott. Here comes Celtic down the left. Palma, it's a shot really from the left angle of the box, which is comfortably dealt with by Jan Oblak. As Palma knows himself, having scored past that Oblak a couple of weeks ago, it needs to be better than that if you're going to get past the big Slovenian.
Yeah, it needs to be a whole lot better. You know, Luis Palma, we can see that he's got brilliant technique, especially coming in onto that right foot. But probably the timing was wrong. As soon as he stepped in, the defence had kept quite a high line. Kyogo couldn't even go and gamble and maybe put Oblak off. And if you're shooting from there, it has to be inch perfect, and it's straight at Oblak, keeps him comfortable.
Celtic have it wide in the left. Palma rolling it to the left angle of the box for Bernardo. First time along the grass, out to the touchline for McGregor, and back to Scales. Scales switching it to Carter Vickers. Johnston's in space on this near side. Looks up at the Atletico box, shifts it infield for Kyogo. His little flick back to the edge of the area comes to nothing, and Atletico clear. And it's Hermoso with a header out to this near side. Battling for it is Morata, and goes out of play off the Atletico player last, so a Celtic throw. Morata got the second equaliser in Glasgow. Here is Taylor on the halfway line. Over on the left it goes to the touchline for Palma. He skips infield midway inside the Atletico half. Big switch out to Maida, kills it on the chest. Johnstone goes in the overlap. Maida decides to go back the way to Carter Vickers, and now it's with McGregor. Short ball for Bernardo, and then to Scales. Then out to that left-hand side, Taylor, who leaves it for Palma. Palma's low ball needs to be better than that. It's an easy cut out by Witsel. Atletico come away with it. Good little bit of play to get themselves out of their own penalty area, and this is a fabulous run forward by Riquelme, and he's found Correa, who's going to return it just outside the penalty area. A chance for two, and Callum McGregor with a huge block to deny Rodrigo Riquelme, who almost finished that move, having just about started it. McGregor was in the right place to make the block, and it stays Atletico 1, Celtic 0 on 13.
It's the quality of Atletico Madrid, Liam. Brilliant run from Riquelme, and Correa, I thought he was going to take the shot. Cameron Carter-Vickers does really well because he just delays, doesn't overcommit, allows his teammate to get back in, and Callum McGregor, and it is a tremendous block because he's behind the game. He doesn't give it up, he's fully concentrated, gets back in and gets the block in. But Atletico just showing that they have that quality. It's not just Griezmann that has it, they have it all over the pitch.
Palma's pass is cut out over on the far side by Molina, and out for a throw-in to Celtic, which Greg Taylor will take about level with the edge of the centre circle. Barely a seat to be had in this stadium. It's been open since 2017, 70,000 capacity, and it is hugely impressive. The Bernabeu has just been renovated, that's been completed. It was still a building site when Celtic played there a year ago, and this is magnificent in its own right as Johnstone comes down the right of the Atletico box for Maida, fancies his chances, goes down inside the box. I think it's come off Maida last, and there'll be a goal kick that'll be given here as he drove in behind. I think he's probably looking for the foul on that occasion. Hermoso was the covering Atletico player.
I think it's a foul. I do. I don't think it's inside the box.
It was continuing into it, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, Hermoso grabs his shirt as he's running in and pulls him back.
They are checking it.
I think it's a foul, whether it's inside the box or not, but he definitely pulls him back. Maida does really well because he plays it quite close to Hermoso's feet and then somehow manages to get from behind him to in front of him, and I'm pretty sure Hermoso pulls him back.
We don't have a monitor in front of us and the big screens aren't showing replays, but it's no foul. No foul, says the ref, having consulted with the VAR. The Slovakian referee says no foul.
Look, I thought he pulled him back. I think it was outside the box, therefore wouldn't get involved.
Yeah.
So they're checking for a
It's
penalty.
obviously not inside the penalty area. Yeah.
Well, not obviously, but I seen a shirt pull, whether they feel that's enough or not, or whether it's inside the box or not.
Another goal in Perth, Andy Burke.
And another goal for St Johnstone. Liam, St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 0. And again, Motherwell's Achilles heels have not been able to deal with corners. Has come back to haunt them. A scramble in the box. Andy Considine was on hand to put the laces through it and smash it home. And it's all going well for Craig Levein so far. St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 0.
Headed away by Carter Vickers. Morata was behind him. It breaks to Correa at the edge of the box. Rolls it to Morata. Morata, left-hand side, goes for the far corner. Blocked by Carter Vickers. Atletico come again. Down the right-hand side this time. Little back heel for Molina. Level with the penalty spot. Rolls it back to Koke. Koke's going to get back onto it here. He gets the early ball in, but it's too close to Joe Hart. He holds on. 16 on the clock here. Atletico 1, Celtic 0, and things going from bad to worse for Motherwell. Like a win in 7. They're 2-0 down, as Andy was saying, against reborn St Johnstone, having beaten Kilmarnock last midweek. And obviously James knows Motherwell from back to front, and that's another disappointing scoreline for them, that is for sure, as Maida gets himself into a bit of space on the right-hand side of the box. He wins his team a corner as well. It's good play by Daisen Maida.
Yeah, he's having a bit of joy down the right-hand side. He's managed to get by Hermoso, he's managed to get by Riquelme as well. But again, it's that cross. It takes probably too long to deliver it, allowing Griezmann to get back and slide it out. But this is a chance now for Celtic.
First corner of the evening for Celtic. And can they make of this? Luis Palma's over it. Right-footed outswinger into the box it comes, headed away. Round about the penalty spot by Jimenez. Breaks to McGregor, back to the centre circle for Johnston. And he rolls it out wide left for Taylor and infield for Bernardo. Moves it left to right there for Callum McGregor, who'll then fire it out to this near side where Palma has remained, having taken the corner a moment ago. Away from Morata, rolls it to Johnston, and he turns it to Taylor. Maida is now popped up on the left-hand side. He's going to take on Griezmann, who slides in, and out it goes for a throw-in to Celtic, a bit level with the edge of the D of the Atletico box.
If anything sums up Atletico, it's that action there from Griezmann. Such an intent to go and put pressure on, slide and challenge, to stop the cross coming into the box, and that's the star man that's doing that.
They're like pistons, aren't they? McGregor to Carter Vickers, squares it to Scales. Rolls it side foot out to the left-hand side. Palma's back out over on the left. A little chip ball coming into the box. All Black came, but it's been headed away by Hermoso, picked up by O'Reilly. Good little spin by O'Reilly, and the slight challenge on Maida, who was in an offside position. Jimenez didn't know that, but the flag has gone up against Maida, and it will be a free kick to Atletico, who lead 1-0 on 18.5.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. It was good play in and around the box again. Matt O'Reilly with the little flick, and he tries to get back on it. He's never going to get on the end of it. Maida's miles offside, and obviously assistant referee in this near side getting his flag up. But I mean, it has been a decent enough performance from Celtic, the way they've knocked the ball about and built it, you know, into the attacking third to put balls into the box. They just haven't been able to find that bit of quality that they've needed, that final pass to go and pick one of their teammates out.
Well, Celtic have only won twice away from home in the Champions League, but their most recent victory in the group stage of the competition did come on the road rather than at home, where they've gone 10 years without victory. Anderlecht 3-0 under Brendan Rodgers. It's their only win in their last 16 away games in the Champions League proper. And drawn 3, lost the rest. As Jimenez picks up and squares it to Witsel. To the right-hand side, Molina. Infield to Barrios, looking to return it to Molina. It's gone straight to Scales though. Now it's with Palma, back up the line for Taylor, who goes down, he was fouled. And that's a free kick over on the far side for Celtic, who trail Atletico by 1-0. But the goal scored by Antoine Griezmann is the only blot on the Celtic performance so far.
Yeah, and they will be disappointed with that fact, because that situation could have been defended better. But I have to say, when the balls have come into the box, when shots have come in, there's been blocks, they've managed to get it clear. And what they've done is, you know, they've controlled the ball. They've built their way into the Atletico defence, and just haven't been able to find that, you know, that final pass, which you feel it can come for them, because they've got into some really good situations.
Maida putting the pressure on Jimenez, right-hand side of the Atletico box. He's making an absolute nuisance of himself, but he's caught Hermoso, and that's gone Atletico's way. And Simeone and the rest of the Atletico coaching staff are all up on their feet inside their technical area. It's a yellow card for Maida as Hermoso writhes on the deck in apparent agony.
Yeah, I have to say, the initial challenge on Maida, I think, is a foul, but he's too honest and goes into that challenge. And, you know, as soon as it happened, the Atletico bench, nearly every single person in it, up and try to go onto the pitch to tell the referee that it should be a red card. I'm not so sure, we can't see it again, and you never know with these things, but my initial thought was it was just a strong challenge.
Simeone's wanting red. He's flashing that imaginary card. They are checking a possible red card here against Daizen Maida, who was sent off late on last season at Hibernian. And he's just walking away from the scene. Hermoso continues to receive treatment down below us. But there is an official VAR check going on right now, so not that the game can get back underway with Hermoso still on the deck. He's got back to his feet now. I'm not sure at what stage they are with the check. The referee's walking away from the scene. Oh, he's going to come over and look at it. Maida's got his jersey up to his face. You well know his fate here, and Brendan Rodgers having a go at Diego Simeone as well. He clearly thinks the Atletico bench and coaching staff have had a hand in this potential red card being shown to Daizen Maida here. The Slovakian referee down below us, Mr. Kruzliak, is watching the monitor, James.
Yeah, I mean, look, as soon as it happened, the whole bench gets up, waving the imaginary cards, which I thought you weren't allowed to do. I mean, listen, I wouldn't say that they're going to influence the referee's decision.
Yeah, Aidan McGeady's had a chance to watch this. He's back in the studio. In fact, Aidan, hold on. We'll get your take on it in a second, because the ref's made his mind up. He's coming back out onto the pitch. Oh, he's changed it from yellow to red. Celtic are down to 10. Celtic down to 10 men in the Metropolitano. Only a quarter of the way through the match. They trail 1-0, and Daizen Maida makes his way up the tunnel. Aidan McGeady.
I think it's very, very harsh. His foot's up, but is there that intent there for dangerous play? In my opinion, I don't think so, but the letter of the law is now, if you raise your foot and your studs are raised, it's a red card. It's very, very harsh, and now Celtic face a massive, massive uphill task.
Yeah, no, they really do. I mean, I've never seen a bench react like that as one. They all jumped up off the bench, screaming for a red card immediately.
But that's the way Atletico are.
Yellow.
That's the way they are.
Yeah. What have you made of Celtic start, despite the hole they now find themselves in?
Encouraging so far. Encouraging, goal and red card aside. Encouraging, because Atletico are playing almost as if they're away tonight. And Celtic have actually played well so far. Atletico are playing total counter-attacking football here. And I think they will get joy from that. But I've been pleasantly surprised with the way Celtic have played and their game plan. But it's that goes out the window now, I think.
Yeah, no, it does. It's a monumental task. It always was. Griezmann picks up and rolls it back to Hermoso. Difficult to know what Celtic, how they deal with this now, James.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're going to go to the 4-3-2, which has happened before, but you don't have the pace of Maida, who normally is the one that makes that work.
Yeah, and here come Atletico. Morata's waiting in the middle for the cross. It's half away. Flick towards Griezmann in the left foot, and he fires it wide of the right-hand post. This could be a long, long night now for the Scottish champions, trailing 1-0 and down to 10.
Can I just say as well, in the aftermath, there was a coach booked, and it was not in the Atletico Madrid bench. It was Brendan Rodgers for going over, you know, to try and defend his player almost. And you think of the amount of Atletico coaches that were out with the technical area, waving the flags about.
Incredible. Here's a chance, Riquelme into the Celtic box. His low ball across, cut out by McGregor. And that will go behind for an Atletico corner. He's defending his player, and he was over at the referee, right up at the referee, when he was at the VAR monitor. So that's obviously what's drawn the yellow card. He was too close to the monitor, and the ref was trying to have a look at it. So corner to be taken by Griezmann on this near side, left-footed outswinger coming up. And it remains goalless in the Stadio Olimpico between Lazio and Feyenoord. Celtic lose this and Feyenoord win that game. Celtic are out of the Champions League, or at least not in the running for last 16. Griezmann's corner comes in, there's a header towards the Celtic goal, but it's a comfortable take for Joe Hart from Jimenez. Atletico 1, Celtic 0, 25 and a half played.
Well, this is a different game, obviously, now for Celtic, and how they go and try and, you know, work their way into causing Atletico Madrid problems. Although what a pass that is, right onto the feet of Paulo Bernardo, who'd made that advanced run. Kyogo now looks to be playing a little bit wider on the right hand side, so it'll be, you know, him and Palma will be probably affecting or occupying the outside centre backs of Atletico. The midfield should then, you know, function the same. The back four should function the same. It's what tweak that Diego Simeone makes, as we've seen, you know, in the home game. He does, you know, he's well aware tactically how to make changes to influence the game. It'll be interesting to see what Atletico does in a different way that Celtic have to try and pose. But listen, this was going to be an unbelievable task for Celtic with 11 men, and now have 10. It is almost mission impossible, but the reaction has been very encouraging. But they're going to have to be 10, every single player 10 out of 10 to get anything out of this game now.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge challenge for these Celtic players as Taylor takes a throw in, gets it back, level with the 6-yard line, bangs it off Witsel, and behind for a Celtic corner. Over on that far side, this might be their best opportunity now, given they're down to 10, to try and find a way to goal. It'll be so difficult to do that from open play now.
It might be, but they don't have, you know, a great deal of height and aggression in there, and Atletico, you know, work on these situations.
And it's a poor corner, although Morata with a slice there, and Oblak is to produce a fantastic save to keep out Alvaro Morata, who's normally so used to scoring goals up the other end. He almost put through his own net there.
That was incredible. You know, it's not the delivery that Palma's looking for. It's fired to that near post. Morata takes a swipe at it. Oblak, as you say, unbelievable reactions to keep it out. And just when I say that Celtic didn't have any height to go and cause problems, well, just keep shooting towards that front post and hope that one of the Atletico players kicks it in the net.
Yeah, take the low road. In comes the corner, outswinger from Palma from this near side, headed away this time. Bernardo gets there ahead of Riquelme, and he rolls it back the way to Johnstone. He goes all the way back to Hart at the edge of his box. Hart then takes a couple of touches and launches it high out to this near side. Palma heads it infield, straight to Jimenez though, and now he's found Koke, finds Griezmann, back to Hermoso, and out to this near side. It is Atletico in possession, and it's picked up by Jimenez. Forward it comes into the Celtic half. Carter Vickers manages to get onto it, and he rolls it back to Hart, the 6-yard line. First time, knocks it clear, and out of play it goes for a throw into Atletico on this near side. 28 and a half on the clock, 1-0 to the hosts. Diego Simeone's getting his steps in down there, that's for sure. One end of his technical area to the other. See what, Brendan Rodgers brave, not just going up against the whole coaching staff, but you don't want to be messing with Diego Simeone, I wouldn't have thought.
No, but I think when you've got John Kennedy at your back, you'd fight anybody the size of Big John.
Yeah, they're both standing up in their space to the left. Atletico pick up a chip ball out towards Griezmann. He's kept it in play beautifully. The Atletico number 7. He's 32 these days, Antoine Griezmann. Doesn't feel like that long ago he burst onto the scene. He's a proper legend around these parts. Flicked infield to Koke. Forward it comes towards Carreaz. Pinched it off O'Reilly. Dancing into the box. Loses it momentarily, but it breaks the Kelme. Level with the penalty spot. Griezmann went in the overlap. He goes back to Correa instead. Works a 1-2 unintentionally with O'Reilly. Gets it back as a swing at it. It's blocked. Now to the left angle of the area for Griezmann. Switching it to the right-hand side of the penalty area. And the first-time volley goes well past from Molina in the end, but he caught it brilliantly. And he's off target as we approach the half hour, with Atletico leading the 10 men by a goal to nil.
No, he shaped up brilliantly, didn't he, Molina? And it's, you know, Atletico having the ball in around the Celtic box, and look, if that's the chance that's, you know, fashioned from Atletico, I think for Celtic you have to take that, because they close gaps, they stop the ball from getting played through, and, you know, it's a switch of play from the edge of the box in behind for Molina. It's a decent enough hit, but Celtic are going to have to defend, you know, and they're almost choosing it right. Be compact, be narrow, force the ball wide, and we'll defend the wide situation, which they've done there.
Remains 0-0. Lazio Feyenoord in the other game in the group, as Hermoso collects and rolls it forwards. Chance for Riquelme, a little bit of space to work in here. Johnston doesn't get there with a challenge. Riquelme chops onto his right, chops back onto his left, rolls it back to Griezmann. Low ball to Barrios, to the right angle of the penalty area for Correa. Molina on the overlap, low ball into the area, cleared by Scales. Barrios will pick up on the far side. Wants it short to Correa, and back to Barrios, to Koke. And Barrios to Koke again, just knocking the ball between each other. And it comes back to Koke, clips the ball to the left angle of the penalty area. It is Riquelme, short ball, Griezmann, heavy touch from him, allows Carter Vickers to clear. It's only partially away though. And it's worked back to Hermoso, who squares it to Koke. Looks up, another big switch coming up towards Molina, right-hand side of the area. First time ball back to Barrios, cut out by Bernardo. Taylor will try and prevent the corner. I don't think he has, no. It is a corner to Atletico, 1-0 to the Spaniards.
I think if Greg Taylor runs and clears that, then he can prevent it. But I totally get what he's trying to do. He's trying to, you know, keep the ball in, then look for a pass to try and build, instead of just sitting, you know, defending wave after wave of attack for Atletico. But again, it's another, you know, dangerous situation for Celtic to go and have to defend, because spoken about Celtic attacking, they don't have that great height, but Atletico do in the defensive and attacking situations.
In swinging corner, Griezmann with it, and it's headed for goal. It's just over. It was Correa, I think, who leapt to get onto that at the right angle of the 6-yard box, and it goes over the bar, and it stays 1-0 to the home team. 32 on the clock.
Yeah, it was dangerous ball in. Correa had made the run, potentially just too far beyond the near post there to get anything really enough on it to trouble Joe Hart. But it's, again, you know, they're just showing their quality in different situations, Atletico.
Correa heading towards 400 appearances for Atletico. He was a late call-up to Argentina's World Cup squad last year. He only played once, came on against Croatia in the semis. Witsel picks up and turns it to his left for Jimenez, sweeps it forward onto this near side for Riquelme. It comes off him and out for a throw for Celtic right on the halfway line. Bowled back by O'Reilly to Carter Vickers. Into Matt O'Reilly again. He goes back to his keeper. Hart takes a touch, Correa chasing him down. Hart deals with it well enough. Long ball up towards the halfway line. Won in the air by Hermoso, and out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. James has had the opportunity to have a look back at Daisen Maida's challenge, which he was initially booked for before the referee consulted with the video assistant, and he upgraded it to red. James, now that you've seen it a couple of times, what are you thinking?
I think it's a poor decision. I think that Maida's going to put a block in as opposed to tackle. And who was it? Barrios that goes to kick it. I think he's almost kicked the bottom of Maida's foot. I think that's an extremely harsh red card, because I don't think that Maida's actually making a challenge, he's making a block.
Well, Celtic will feel hard done by, that's for sure. It's not exactly aiding their cause. Coming to one of the most difficult arenas in Europe to get a result, and you are on the receiving end of a soft decision like that when you're already 1-0 down. Liam Scales picks up, it's a long ball, the left foot, Palma controlling it on the chest, the far side. It's under pressure though, and not much he could have done. He's trying to win a throw-in off Molina. Feels he has done. It's gone out for an Atletico throw though. We're heading towards half-time at McDermott. St Johnstone leading Motherwell by 2-0. Motherwell's plummet down the Premiership table has come under the microscope recently. Simeone discards with the winter coat and throws it into his dugout, if you want to call it that, down below us in frustration. The Celtic are awarded a free kick. It's about 10 yards or so outside the centre circle left of it, and it is half-time now in Perth. St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 0. It's a half-time scoreline. Here's Palma for Celtic on the left, level with the edge of the D. His ball takes a deflection, breaks to O'Reilly. I think he got caught in two minds there. He doesn't really get much on it, and it eventually just goes weakly to Axel Witsel, who goes over on the far side. Scales fouls him, and that's going to be an Atletico free kick, right-hand side of their penalty area, over on the touchline. 10 to the break here, or at least to the end of the 45, with Celtic trailing by 1-0. And yellow card's been shown there as well.
For Scales?
Oh, it was Palma, yeah, it was Palma who was booked, so it's obviously something he's had to say. He was annoyed that he didn't get a throw-in just before that, so the referee books Palma.
The one before you speak about Matt O'Reilly, he was caught in two minds. It's a half chance because he's on the edge of the box, the ball's dropped down. I think he potentially could take a touch and get a shot away, or just make his mind up to take the shot on and hit it first time. It's a half chance for Celtic, so again, signs of encouragement that they will be able to get in around the Atletico box. They will be able to get opportunities to equalise in this game, but they have to continue to defend the way they have been when the ball's been in around their own box.
It's another game in Europe where Celtic haven't been able to keep a clean sheet as well, and that's been an issue down the years, affecting more than just Brendan Rodgers. 1 in 35 now. His Hart picks up on his goal line, under pressure, showed some neat footwork to just get himself away from Morata, and then rolls it to Carter Vickers, but they've given it away. Now it's Koke to Griezmann, who turns it back the way, and it's now with Griezmann again via Hermoso, and Jimenez gives it to Koke on the halfway line.
Yeah, Joe Hart had a problem there because Carter Vickers, it looked like, you know, the ball was going to go in behind them, so Liam Scales had come and covered over this side. Carter Vickers wins it, plays it back to Joe Hart. He's only really got Greg Taylor to open out the other side, but he's been picked up.
There's Correa, lovely darting run forward to the edge of the area. Scales gets a touch onto him. Breaks back to Correa though at the right angle of the penalty box. Out wide right, the cross comes in. It's a deep one, it's too deep, and it goes behind the reverse side of the goal for a goal kick, and we'll stay Atletico 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, and I think Morata's claiming that Cameron Carter Vickers is pulling him back as that cross is coming into the box. The referee runs straight over to Morata to tell him no, he could see the whole instant, there's nothing in it. But you know, again, Celtic forced the ball wide, having to deal with a cross, but they've just given the ball away too cheaply.
Yeah, there's been a few sloppy passes just in the last little while as Correa rolls it out wide right. Molina to Witsel. Witsel back out to that right-hand side. And then infield to Koke. Koke sweeps it to Hermoso, midway inside the Celtic half. Out onto the left-hand side for Riquelme. Level with the penalty spot, finds Griezmann, fires it across. Hart makes the save. McGregor controls and has just about enough time to roll it to Greg Taylor, who then lumps it clear and out for a throw-in on this near side.
Yeah, thanks for that, if you're Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor, it's really good play again. Celtic at the block.
It's the old hot potato, wasn't it?
But look, Cal McGregor's facing his own goal. He has to take a touch. He sees Greg Taylor. It's a nice weighted pass for him just to step on and clear it. But that was a thanks a lot, mate, for bailing me out there.
Atletico pick up in the midfield. It's moved to the left of the centre circle for Hermoso. Out to Riquelme. Level with the Celtic 18 now, attacking O'Reilly. And then trying to get past him. O'Reilly does just enough to win it back for the Scottish champions. Johnstone flicks it through the legs of Griezmann, finds McGregor, who's under serious pressure down the near side, and Johnstone just smashes it off Hermoso and out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. Let's buy them a little bit of a breather. 6 minutes of the 45 remaining here in the Metropolitano, with Atletico leading by 1-0. The early goal from Griezmann, Maida sent off. Here's Griezmann now. Misunderstanding with Morata. They've normally got such a good communication those two, but on this occasion the radar's obviously faltering and Griezmann puts it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, but again, it comes from a Celtic throw. It's thrown back the way to Matt O'Reilly, who takes a touch and thinks he's got time. And Morata comes and wins it back, gives it to Griezmann, and then makes that run, and he's obviously made a different run to the one Griezmann's played, but they are almost encouraging the pressure now from Atletico because they aren't using the ball as well as what they have done previously.
Yes, because I've seen a lot of Celtic away in the Champions League, and this is it's far from their worst performance, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Even with 10 men.
Yeah, and they've still tried to play.
Here's a chance for Atletico. Correa rolling it to the right-hand side, pulled back by Molina to the penalty spot. Breaks to Riquelme, feeds it to Barrios. His shot is blocked, and Rata's there. And I think that's over the line, is it? No, but the flag's up anyway. The flag's up anyway on the far side. Joe Hart initially made the save, but he was struggling to get back in the second phase there. And it looked like it had possibly just crept over the line, but the flag went up in any case.
Yeah, it was a huge deflection. Joe Hart committed to the dive, and then, first I thought, is it going to creep into the net? But Morata's just standing at the back post, clearly in an offside position, but still a worrying moment for Celtic. And again, it comes from in good possession, maybe either taking too long or playing that risky pass in their own half. They have to get back to doing what they've managed to get a little bit of success from, is playing that forward and building, the play to go and try and create chances in and around the box. I have to say though, Atletico have really, come out and pressed and pushed bodies forward, made it very difficult, and tried to win and force those mistakes and win the ball higher up the pitch.
They're desperate to get to the final this season. Lost to those two under Simeone to their neighbours in 2014 in Lisbon, and then in Milan in 2016. The latter on penalties. Witsel turns it out to the far side. They were seconds away from winning it in Lisbon, actually, before Sergio Ramos equalised in stoppage time to take it to extra time. Then Gareth Bale took over and Real won 4-1. Here's Riquelme with the cross ball. Hart comes and takes Morata in behind him, and it remains at 1-0 to the home team.
Yeah, it's a deep cross, cut back onto the right foot. That whip cross to the back post, and Joe Hart reads it well, but I think reasonably enough as well for Celtic, as Liam Scales had matched the run of Morata, and it would have had to be inch perfect for him to get even the slightest of touches on it. I thought Scales marked him brilliantly there.
We've been watching Morata and Griezmann just about every week over the last month. We saw them both in action against Scotland for Spain and France respectively, and then we were both teaming up in Glasgow against Celtic 2 weeks ago in the 2-each draw, as McGregor picks up in the centre circle and rolls it to Scales. Scales, not under too much pressure, is forced back the way though eventually into his own half for McGregor. Now it's with Carter Vickers, who plays it short to Johnstone. Chilly night in the Spanish capital here. Luis Palma picks up on the near side, but the referee blows the whistle for a foul, I think by, was it Bernardo who made the challenge? So it's going to be an Atletico free kick just inside Celtic territory. It's a busy week here on Sports Sound. And of course, we're bringing you the latest from Perth, where St Johnstone lead Motherwell by 2-0 at half-time. Stoppage in play here for Riquelme to himself back to his feet. Tomorrow night, St Mirren Hibernian in the Premiership, 7:45 kick-off. Thursday, PAOK Aberdeen, 5:45 in the Conference League. Rangers Sparta Prague at 8 p.m. in the Europa League. And then on Friday, under the lights at East End Park, Championship action on the BBC Scotland TV channel. Dunfermline Athletic against Dundee United. Here come Atletico, who lead 1-0 here. It's Griezmann. Rolls it to the left-hand side of the box for Riquelme. Little ball to Correa, outside of the boot, he flicks it back the way, and Hart holds on. And an Atletico player was clattered to the ground there. It was Barrios who was attacking it inside the 6-yard area as he goes down. And it's a Celtic ball, and it's in the gloves of Hart.
Yeah, I think Greg Taylor just matched his run and edged him out of it. And, if there was any hint that could have been a foul or a penalty, Barrios would have made it clear, because anytime anything's happened, the whole Atletico team, their bench, have claimed for absolutely everything, which tells you that it was good defending from Greg Taylor. And it is, because he's coming from the left-back area, matching that run all the way across the near post just to make sure that he doesn't get onto it. They've defended well, Celtic, at times tonight, under huge pressure at times as well.
Yeah, under pressure again. Riquelme bursting down the left-hand side. Johnstone sticks with him. It's back to Griezmann. Level with 18. Square ball to Koke, the Atletico captain. He's turning it back to Hermoso. Shifts it to Griezmann on this near side. Infield to Koke. Squares it left to right of the circle for Witsel. Looks forward, passes it forward, gets it back. Immediately from Barrios. Now moved to Hermoso, out to the left, Riquelme. Up against Johnstone, onto his right side. Rolls it back to Griezmann, controls with the undersole of his left boot. Then switches it to the right of the penalty area. 3 minutes of stoppage time have been added. We're ticking into that now. Atletico on the attack. And turn back to Witsel. And then into the centre circle it goes for Jimenez, switching it out to the left for Riquelme. Celtic just can't get the ball now, just desperately trying to get to half-time without further punishment.
Yeah, Atletico just knocking the ball side to side, trying to probe as they've done there and break that line.
Here's Griezmann getting it from Barrios. He's at the edge of the box, rolls it to the right of it, gets it back immediately, looks for space to shoot, blocked by Scales, behind for an Atletico corner.
Yeah, and that's the difficulty, you know. Atletico have just knocked the ball side to side, switch of play, diagonals, and then they're just waiting for that moment where they can play the ball through the midfield line into a player in an advanced position. A couple of passes, they're getting a shot at goal. But again, I have to say, when it's come in and around the box, Celtic have defended it excellently again.
Simeone organising his players. I'm not sure they can hear him though as Griezmann takes the corner. It's one of the poorest he's ever taken. It's easily away by McGregor. Griezmann picks it up again though and finds Barrios. Infield to Koke. Back to Barrios. He's got time and space. Low ball in. Griezmann turns it towards goal. And Hart saves it his near post and puts it behind for a corner. Another flicker of life from Atletico towards the end of the first half here. It stays 1-0, but Griezmann's in the mood to make it 2.
Yeah, he is. It's brilliant again. Great cross. Normally we're seeing them high and ones for aerial duels. Griezmann makes that run to the near post. It's fired into it, and he's just deflecting it towards the Joe Hart's near post, who's alert to it and makes a good save again.
1-0 Lazio, by the way, in Rome. The other game in the group is Atletico. Another poor corner. It's cleared by McGregor once more. It's Ciro Immobile who scored in first half stoppage time. Lazio 1, Feyenoord 0. As Atletico come again! The ball into the 6-yard box! It's tapped home! The ball in from the left was deadly! And Atletico Madrid in first half stoppage time here in the Spanish capital make it 2-0. Celtic were desperately trying to get to the interval. Just 1 behind. They're now 2 behind and down to 10 men. It's a hopeless situation now for the Scottish champions. Atletico Madrid 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, you feel it is, Liam, because Celtic have offered very little in an attacking sense the last 5 or 10 minutes, and you did get the sense that it was, you know, get to half-time, keep it at 1-0. They've defended brilliantly, but on this occasion, you know, there's Atletico Madrid players free in the box. It's a brilliant pick out from Jimenez to find Morata, who's unmarked at the back post, and they have defended really well at times, Celtic, but on this occasion Jimenez is free, Morata makes a run that we know that he does, and it's a really good header into his path, and he's not missing from there, Morata, and it has made what was a almost impossible task impossible now.
Morata's 11th goal of the season. It's the 2 goal scorers who scored in Glasgow who've done the damage. 2 legends of this football club. And Alvaro Morata, who's the Spanish national captain as well, and did such damage at the time to Stevie Clarke's Scotland side when he opened the scoring down the southern part of the country here in Seville a few weeks ago. Well, he scored again tonight, and it's 2-0. And it had been coming, to be fair. They'd upped the ante just in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, they had. Celtic, as I keep saying, have defended well, but that intense pressure from Atletico, there's always going to be a time where someone drops a man.
Here they come again. Barrios, right angle of the Celtic box. Seconds ticking away in the first half. Barrios clips it in. O'Reilly clears, but it bounced back off Correa, I think it was, and Hart makes another brilliant save to tip it over. There is no time to take the resulting corner though. We eventually had 4 minutes of stoppage time, and that's because Alvaro Morata scored in the opening part of the time added on, and has surely condemned Celtic to another Champions League defeat on the road. They actually performed pretty well for 30-35 minutes of that game and had to react to going behind early on to Antoine Griezmann's finish. Took a slight nick as it made its way arrowed into the bottom right corner of the net to give Atletico the perfect start. The start Celtic were dreading. Their challenge was made all the tougher when Daizen Maeda was sent off. The referee initially showed a yellow, but after a VAR on-field review, he upgraded it to red and sent Maeda off on 23 minutes, just a quarter of the way into the game, and Celtic were down to 10. And then just as they thought they were getting in at half-time, one down, Morata popped up to poke home. And that means the half-time scoreline here in the Metropolitano in the Spanish capital is Atletico Madrid 2, 10-man Celtic 0.
Celtic in the Champions League.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Yes, come on!
All new this autumn on BBC iPlayer.
Are you even listening? This is important.
Feel the heat in Boiling Point.
Go out there and smash it. Calm down!
No, I'm not going to calm down. I've had enough.
Catch up with old friends in Ghosts.
Yes!
Well done, Robin. You just wooed 170-year-old woman.
Excuse me?
And make room for Sort Your Life Out.
Shall we see what we're dealing with?
A mouse.
How am I expected to paint in these conditions?
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
You're listening to Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. Champions League night, of course, and it has been, in the end, a torrid 45 minutes, I guess, for Celtic. Played a lot of decent football, been composed for a large part of it, but they're 2-0 down, they're a man down, and they are looking in serious danger of getting very close to having their Champions League dream extinguished for another year. In the other match in Rome, it's Lazio 1, Feyenoord 0 at half-time. As Liam told you, Ciro Immobile with a goal there. So as things stand, Atletico Madrid 8 points, Lazio 7, Feyenoord 6, Celtic 1. Celtic not quite out of it, but it is, well, what was already a huge task looks absolutely massive right now. We'll get to McDermott Park shortly, half-time there. St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 0. Nicky Clark with his third goal in 2 matches, and Andy Considine with his first goal since August of last year, giving St Johnstone a scoreline which would see them off the bottom of the table this evening. In the SPFL Trust Trophy 4th round, Rangers B1, Airdronians 2. That's early in the second half. Josh Gentles gave the Rangers side the lead early, but Callum Gallagher was quick to equalise, 7th of the season, and Gabby McGill gave Airdronians the lead midway through the half. The winners will play Morton away in the quarter-finals. Right, let's... well, the big talking point, Aidan, I think both you and James thoughts that the sending off was soft, was unlucky. By the letter of the law these days, wasn't it the correct decision?
I disagree. I don't think he's going in for the ball to try and hurt the player. He's put his foot up to try and block the ball, and the Atletico Madrid player has kicked his foot. And if that's what you're getting sent off for these days, then how can you make a tackle on the pitch or try and go for the ball?
The referee doesn't factor in intent into his decision, does he? It's whether the actions of the player are endangering the opponent, and his studs were showing, weren't they?
Yeah, do you think that's endangering the player?
Well, I think it is. I mean, that's the way the laws have to be applied these days, isn't the referee?
Yeah,
it's kind of almost out of his hands, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't agree with it. I think it's very, very soft. But look, the sending off aside, going down to 9 men, like, alters your game plan to an extent, but it doesn't excuse the fact that your game plan totally changes. Because up until that point, I thought even when Celtic were down to 9 men, Celtic were actually, I was quite encouraged by the way they played. But then, obviously, the second goal is it's a killer blow. But that doesn't excuse the fact that when you're down to 10 men, you still have to mark men.
Yeah.
You still have to defend balls in the box. I mean, like we're looking at highlights of the goals here, and kind of not just now, but 10-15 minutes ago. But I'm looking at Alistair Johnson, and Alistair Johnson doesn't have a clue there's a player behind him now to play the ball across goal. and you can for all you want to talk about 9 men, 10 men, and the sending off, and it's a 2-0 up, so is it damage limitation? But the defending for the goal is that's got nothing to do with being down to 10 men. That's just basic defending for me.
Tom, what have you made of the 45 minutes?
Oh, I think it's a struggle. It's an absolute grind. So disappointing after 6 minutes, and they're on the back foot already with the Griezmann goal. Poor header out, great finish, and all the rest of it. But
took a deflection off Carter Vickers.
Yeah, it took a deflection off Carter Vickers. But six minutes, 6 minutes. You're not giving yourself a chance in that stadium with that hostility against this team.
But they were still handling the occasion pretty well at that point, weren't they? I don't mean after 6 minutes, but actually, no. But
all right,
at 1-0 down, yeah.
No, they were, but I mean, the Maeda red is 22 minutes?
Yeah.
And I think
sending off for you or not?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I can see why the referee has. I can see why the referee has given a red card. Absolutely, you freeze it. Maeda's foot is high, and there's contact. Is it Hermoso?
Hermoso. Yeah.
But you watch it again. Hermoso kind of kicks through Maeda. So yes, Maeda's foot shouldn't be where it is, absolutely. But then Hermoso kicks through it, and it makes it look worse than it actually is. So I could absolutely see why the referee has given it. I think he was right with his initial decision, which was yellow. I think a red card for that, I think, is on the harsh side.
Mm-hmm. But that's my point. That's my opinion as well.
I know you're saying within the laws of the game. Yeah, I know you're saying within the laws of the game, but I think that Maeda is going to block, so he almost dangles his leg. He doesn't motion towards Hermoso. No. As Tom says, Hermoso kicks the ball at full force and kicks the bottom of Maeda's foot. So I don't think that's endangering an opponent. It's not excessive force or brutality. He's not out of control of what he's doing. He just leaves his foot there to block the ball. He kicks it inside and comes off, his standing foot, but then he kicks his foot Hermoso kicks his foot with his foot. I don't think it's a red card. I think the referee saw the incident clearly at the time, saw it for what it was, and I think he was right. I think that's a poor decision, a poor use of VAR, and it's cost Celtic tonight in that stage of the game. But not the fact they're 2-0 down, but they had relative control at times in the game. They had chances to go forward. Maeda was having a good game actually in terms of being able to get to the byline. Okay, his final pass wasn't great, but he was still having an impact. So I think that's a poor decision, and it's cost Celtic having any hope of getting back into the game.
I'm just watching that again. I mean, it's a challenge he doesn't need to make, but he does put the foot is out. It's dangled. It's right there, and I appreciate that Hermoso is trying to play the ball.
What would you say he should do then? That just not put his foot up at all?
Does he need to? Look at. I'm watching it right now. The foot is out. The studs are up. I just think it's a bit of a reckless challenge to be making. In the position of the park where it was, there was no need to make that challenge.
He didn't need to go in, but you look at his body. He's leaning backwards. There's no aggression in this.
No. I'm not suggesting there is.
Yeah, there's no aggression. There's no brutality, as Fanny's saying. He's kind of almost. And his foot. Yes, his foot is high. That's a problem. Absolutely, that's a problem. But Hermoso kicks him. So yeah. It's a clash. It's a clash.
It's a block.
Is it dangerous play?
The ball.
I don't think there's zero danger in it.
No, it's not.
I just don't think it's. But you freeze it. If you freeze it, and you think, oh well, that's a red card all day because that's above. That's on the shin. But you look at it in real time, and I've watched it lots of times now. I don't think there's any danger in it. There's very little force in it. I just think it's harsh. I think it's harsh.
It's not helped either with the Atletico Madrid bench.
Yeah, well, we didn't see that, but the lads were obviously. Yeah. How bad was that, lads? Because we didn't see any of that here.
As soon as it happened, Simeone was. I think he might have been on the pitch, and there was about 10 members of the bench.
Really?
Exactly. 10 members of staff from the bench roughly got out, and they were shouting, waving about the imaginary card to suggest it's a red card. Listen, I don't know how much influence that has.
Well, I was going to say, James, the one thing you would say about that, the referee wasn't influenced by that because he gives the yellow. It's VAR who aren't being harassed by the Atletico bench.
I know, but I wouldn't hold VAR to amazing standards either, because we've seen them get a lot wrong.
Absolutely, I'm not suggesting that, but the fact that I don't think they would have been intimidated by the bench.
We would just like Richard,
Atletico,
the referee, to stick with the decision he makes when he goes to the monitor, because he has seen the full instant, and I don't know what the ref was showing. If it's a still image, then that's poor, because that's not the full story. You have to see what's happened, and I think Maida just dangles a leg. Hermoso kicks it. Does he need to use as much force? Hermoso, is he thinking, I'm going to kick this ball and follow through, and if I can, catch the player as well, great. But he catches him and hurts himself. I think Hermoso is more the reason why there's so much force in that challenge, because Maida just goes, he doesn't motion towards him, he just sticks his leg up, and as Tom says, leaning back, there's no force in it. He just almost tries to get a block, hopeful for a block, and Hermoso kicks the bottom of his foot.
Well, it's maybe not the bench have influenced VAR, of course not, but the bench might have influenced the referee's decision to change it on the pitch.
Yeah, it could well have done.
Yeah.
After he looks at the monitor, the bench has gone ballistic. But I don't know what images he's looked at.
I mean, I have to assume he's given. Because they are supposed to be given a variety of angles, and yes, they do see a still usually as well, I think. But Celtic still holding on right up until the stoppage time, and then Morata tapping in from close range. It is 2-0. It is a huge challenge, I feel. In the second half, we'll get back to the stadium shortly. Let's go to McDermott Park, where it has been an excellent first 45 minutes for Craig Levein, Andy Burke.
Certainly is, Richard. 54 minutes on the clock. St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 0. St Johnstone 2 goals up, both goals coming really from Motherwell's inability to deal with corner kicks, and while Craig Levein will be delighted, Stuart Kettlewell will be livid at the defensive errors that continue to undermine his team's performances. Motherwell actually thought they had the lead early on. Connor Wilkinson get in behind the defence and lobbed a beautiful finish over Dimitar Mitov in the St Johnstone goal, but VAR intervenes for a handball earlier in the move. That was ruled out, and just moments later it was St Johnstone that took the lead. Nicky Clark allowed far too much space to steal in at the front post and head home from a corner, and another corner 10 minutes later caused chaos in the Motherwell box, eventually the ball dropping to Andy Considine to smash home from close range. It's been largely comfortable for St Johnstone. Motherwell have offered very little in attack, and if things follow a similar pattern for the remainder of this game in and around, half an hour's time, St Johnstone will be off the foot of the Premiership table. 55 minutes on the clock. St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 0.
Yeah, the live table shows them in 11th, ahead of Livingston on goal difference. If they were to win by 3 goals, they would also go ahead of Ross County on goal difference. And right now, the bottom 5 are separated by a single point. The bottom 6 by just 2 points. It is a remarkable season in the bottom half of the table right now. But St Johnstone in a strong position. For Motherwell, it would be a 7th defeat and the 1 draw in their last 8 matches. A horrific run that Stuart Kettlewell and his team have been on. So we'll keep you across that one. Still, Airdronians leading by 2 goals to 1 against Rangers B in the Challenge Cup. The winners of that one, I find it's now 3-1, but I'm told it's 3-2, so there's been a couple of quick goals in that one. Josh Gentles had given Rangers B an early lead in that one. Callum Gallagher and Gabby McGill put Airdronians in front. McGill got the 3rd in the 54th minute, but Rangers B have just pulled one back just past the hour mark. So it's Rangers B 2, Airdronians 3 in that one. Well, Celtic coming out and facing a huge uphill struggle. The mentality, what does it have to be, Aidan, as you come out for a game like this, in this arena, in this stadium, 1 man down, 2 goals down? I mean, as a player, how do you get yourself into the right frame of mind to take this on?
Listen, I'm not in the dressing room, so I can't. I'm not privy to what Brendan Rodgers has said at half time, but it's one of 2 things. I think the Celtic try and get themselves up the pitch more and try and get a goal back, which I think might lead to possibly bringing on because of his physicality. He'll chase things down. Kyogo, at this stage of the game, I don't think Kyogo's probably suited to it because he's feeding off scraps. O might have something different where he can hold the ball in and get the team up the pitch, or do they go the other way and go, is it damage limitation, and do we put on another midfielder, do we put on a Wata to try and show things up to make sure it's 2-0 and it's slightly respectable.
Right, well, let's head back, because I think you may have been right in your first suggestion. O is on for the second half, Liam.
Yes, just as Aidan was saying it, we saw Oh Hyun-gyu come onto the pitch, so he has come on. Celtic look to try and bed themselves in, hunker down for this second half. They've also brought Odin Holm on, the two players going off, O'Reilly and Palma. So Celtic made a couple of changes, and Atletico have made a change as well. Pablo Barrios has come off and has been replaced by Marcus Llorente, who came on at half-time in Glasgow to really good effect. He was excellent and was probably the main reason Atletico got a point out of the game. He set up Morata's goal, but his performance, he just gave Atletico some real drive that they were lacking in the first half of that game. So he's on too for the second half. James, talk us through the Celtic changes.
Yeah, I mean, coming on, Aidan touched on it, that bit of physicality alongside Kyogo. And it's, you know, they have been playing the 4-3-2. Palma's been doing that shift, but obviously not a left winger. So comes on, it's you know, what you would mostly see in the two strikers. And O's physicality, you know, Brendan will be hoping can bring Kyogo into the game. Home coming on for O'Reilly. I wonder if it's, you know, just to give him a chance, give him a run out, because normally when you're chasing a game or you're looking for a goal, you would expect that Matt O'Reilly would be, you know, at the heart of that. And, you know, Atletico, Llorente, as you said, changed the game at Celtic Park, brings energy, intelligence and obvious quality. So just a different problem now for Celtic to worry about.
Free kick Atletico for a foul by O down below us. Atletico going left to right in the second half in their familiar red and white striped shirts, the blue shorts and red socks. Celtic in their all black away kit going right to left. And the Celtic fans are housed behind as Correa gets away from Scales inside the box, shoots with the outside of the boot, straight at Hart though. I think he had to have a go himself, given he got goal side of the defender, spun him well. First couple of minutes of the second half, Atletico already with a sight of the Celtic goal again. They lead 2-0.
Yeah, he did have to have the shot, and it's a brilliant pass, it really is, because we're used to seeing, certainly towards the end of that first half, Atletico knocking the ball side to side and try to probe for that opening, but this is a deep, straight pass into Correa's feet. He turns Scales brilliantly, and when it comes on, look, I understand he's probably got that in his locker where he hits it with the outside, he's right, but he's almost having to bring his body the whole way around it to get that shot off. I think if he takes that with his left, he's got options inside, but he's done so well to get his shot away. I think if he takes that with his left, then he can aim for that far post and cause Joe Hart a few more problems.
Greg Taylor bowling it back to Scales. The turn goes back to the edge of his own box for Carter Vickers. Short ball with the right to Johnstone. He knocks it forward to Odin Holm, who was sent off on Matchday 1 in Rotterdam back in September. And he's moved to Johnstone, then to McGregor, to Scales, out to this near side for Taylor, and onto the halfway line for Bernardo. O is away to his left. He elects to go back to McGregor though. And McGregor with the left foot out to Johnstone on the far side. Infield to Holm. And we're looking to make an impression. He hasn't really been seen since the sending off against Feyenoord. Carter Vickers finds Odin Holm again, out to Johnstone on the touchline. First real feel of the ball in the second half for Celtic. This as McGregor goes back to Johnstone. The retreat to the touchline to get onto it though, as he finds Carter Vickers to Bernardo. And now McGregor. Up the line for Johnstone, back to Callum McGregor again. Again, this is just an example again of Atletico just quite happy to let Celtic have the ball now and again.
Yeah, they've just sat off them. And I think if you go back to the pass that was played into Paulo Bernardo, he's beyond that Atletico midfield, and Ode made the run. So just take your touch and play it to him and get your team up the pitch. And Celtic, they've kept it well. Been, you know, all in front of Atletico. They've not really probed and looked for that opening. And Atletico, as we've mentioned on numerous occasions, they're happy to do that at times. They're happy to sit off and let you have it. They don't always have to have the ball. They're dangerous even when they don't have it.
Celtic free kick meantime. Foul over on the right-hand side, 10 yards from the far side touchline. Bernardo with it into the box, headed away pretty comfortably by Koke. And it's picked up by Riquelme. Lovely shuffle away from Bernardo. Still on it, Riquelme. He rolls it back down the line to Griezmann with a big switch out to this near side for Molina, who can't control, and it bounces away from him and out for a throw to Celtic out on this near side.
He just misjudges it, Molina, doesn't he? You know, Griezmann's hit the shot, he goes towards it to try and catch it before it bounces, then he backs out, and by the time he does that, it's, you know, he's at full stretch, trying to control the ball as it's going over his head. I think if he just continues there, he can take this thing out of that cross-field pass. But, you know, they've got the ball back anyway, so it's not been a big problem for them.
They are beyond the hour mark at McDermott Park. St Johnstone leading Motherwell by 2-0. Clark and Considine in the first half of the goals there. Griezmann and Morata with the first half goals here in the Metropolitano. Atletico in possession. It's ushered out to this right-hand side, and Molina's on it, level with the edge of the D. It's a low ball to the edge of the box. It was touched back there by Correa, looking for Llorente, but he was off target with the pass. And Celtic get it away, but here they come again with Griezmann. Short ball to Riquelme, who spent last season on loan at Girona, who are the shock league leaders of La Liga just now. Into November, the Catalans still up there, and Riquelme starred for them last season. They were punching above their weight when they were sitting 10th last season at the end of the campaign. First season back in the top flight. Here they are, top of the league as Atletico come down the left. Level with the 6, the cross is poor, it's cleared by McGregor. Another really desperate clearance in Atletico of it back, Correa to Llorente. Out to the right-hand side, it's a scooped ball with the right foot by Molina, but it goes right through to Hart. And it remains Atletico 2, Celtic 0 in 51.
Yeah, when we've spoken about Atletico and how they sit off the ball, but they're all compact, they're all in their units, making it very difficult for Celtic to play through. But when they've, you know, in possession, they go and squeeze the game, so they're almost locking you in around the box. Cameron Carter-Vickers with a great interception, steps into play, tries to play a forward pass to Kyogo, it's cut out. Callum McGregor trying to play one into midfield again, and it's cut out because Atletico are squeezing the game and almost goading you into playing that pass, ready to go and pick it up.
Actually not been on a great run in this competition as Kyogo is flagged offside. A long ball down this near side. Atletico won the last 8. They infamously finished bottom of their group, didn't even get into the Europa League safety net last term. Really poor for 2-time finalists in the last decade. Don't get out the section. This is of course the last ever group stage of the UEFA club competitions. It moves to a league phase next season. 2 extra matches will be played. As Molina picks up on the near side. It's away from Bernardo. Now it's with Witsel. So knocked away from him by Bernardo, but Griezmann's onto it. Finds Molina. Back to Griezmann on this near side. The ball in field's cut out by Taylor, but it's still Atletico in possession. Correa, good footwork from him, and he shoots, and saved by Hart at the near post, and over the bar it goes. He's made some excellent saves tonight, Joe Hart.
He has, and you know, he's obviously been more worked than he's used to, certainly at domestic level, but he's made some really good saves. That one there, it's a tight angle, but when Correa hits it, so often you see them, because there's height on it, creeping in at that near post, hitting the roof of the net. Joe Hart stands big and tips it over the bar. It's a good save.
Atletico corner, Griezmann's over it, and then near side. The referee isn't happy with the group of players at the left-hand side of the 6-yard box. There are 4 Atletico, 4 Celtic involved in that little huddle. So the Slovakian referee keeping his eye on that. And now Griezmann will take the corner. In-swinger with the left foot on this near side. Floats it in towards Witsel, goes for the bicycle kick, breaks to Jimenez, heads off the underside of the bar. Kyogo flicks it away, and Celtic get away with one. It stays at 2-0 to Atleti. Celtic have given it away in double quick time. Here's Griezmann, works the 1-2 with Correa into the box, to the byline. His cross goes over the bar though, and that'll be a goal kick to Celtic, and that'll just calm things down a little bit. 54 played. He's given a corner.
Yep. Deflection.
That deflection, yeah.
Greg Taylor, I think it's a block on the cross and deflects over. But yeah, Celtic, living dangerously. Atletico put the ball in. Witzel, I think it is, goes for the overhead kick, but they managed to keep it alive almost because it creeps under Joe Hart's bar. And then Celtic managed to get it clear to Paulo Bernardo, who can't keep the ball. And again, Atletico go on the attack, and they've got another corner here.
Here's Jimenez with the header. It came off the underside of the bar. Molina takes the corner, headed away by Kyogo. He's making his 100th appearance for Celtic this evening. And it's been one to largely forget so far. As good an experience as it will be to come and play football in this stadium. It's Griezmann picking up on this near side. Knocking it forward, too much on the pass though for Correa. And that will go behind this time for a goal kick. It's Atletico 2, 10-man Celtic 0.
Yeah. It's a good idea though. When Correa makes that run, he's free. If Griezmann gets it right, then he's potentially getting a shot at goal.
10 in the second half here, 2-0 to Atletico. There's been another goal at McDermott. Is it game on or is it game over, Andy Burke?
It's game on. Motherwell have pulled one back, Liam. They've been good in this second half. Stuart Kettlewell has got a reaction from these players. They've been pushing hard and they've got the goal through Shane Blaney. It was a corner, it was nodded back to the back post, and it was a pretty simple finish in the end. But very much game on. St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 1.
Well, that's exactly what Stuart Kettlewell would have been hoping for. They've still got a quarter of that match to play as they try and come from 2 goals down. St Johnstone, if they win that, come off the bottom of the Premiership. Here's Molina for Atletico here in the Champions League. Out wide for Llorente, low ball along the Celtic 18-yard line, goes straight to and home. Kyogo gives it away though to Witzel. Griezmann takes it off his teammate and it's out to the left-hand side. Little change of pace from Riquelme. Gets his cross ball in, Llorente heads back towards the 6-yard line. McGregor up high into the air, but no distance in the clearance. There is now. This is booted to safety by Johnstone with Morata lurking.
They're just such a... At times they play beautiful football, Atletico, but the amount of work they put in make it really hard to play against. They really love doing the dirty side of the game, and when the ball's there for a 50-50 or it's any sort of fight, they're there to win it and they keep the pressure on you. Celtic are having to defend and defend and defend, and when they win it back, they're just giving it back because of the aggression of Atletico to win it back.
And the ball cleared by Celtic out to this near side. Real Madrid are an Afghan hound, Atletico are a pit bull. They are the underdogs in this city. The working class side. Real Madrid, the royalty of the Spanish capital. As Bernardo's clipped in the midfield, that's going to be a free kick to Celtic, left of the centre circle. But there have been times when, in the last 10 years or so, where Diego Simeone has taken them out of the shadow of Real Madrid and 2 La Liga titles, those Europa League successes, and it's just in this competition he wants so desperately to do well in.
Yeah, and that's why he's, I don't know now with the Saudi Arabian League and the money paid, but certainly before that, came to the fore, the highest paid coach in world football. He's had such success here, and I mentioned Griezmann. We can see his quality on the ball, brilliant footballer. He's clearly a flair, attacking player, but the one that puts the work in as well for the team. He's got every single player on the same page. You look at the characteristics of the players, they're aggressive, they don't mind defending, they don't mind tackling, they work for the team, whether it's in defence or in attack, and that's just a vision of the manager, and that's why he's had so much success. The difficulty is, it's such a strong competition for them to maintain that over the course of a season and a competition like this.
Correa at the edge of the Celtic box, rolls it to Griezmann on the left-hand side, and he shoots into the hoarding of the netting, and that will be a goal kick to Celtic, and it will stay 2-0 to Atletico as we get closer to the hour mark, about 58 and a half on the clock. He is let's go back to Simeone, he's the longest serving manager in Europe's big 5 leagues. He's had Atletico in the top 4 in Spain in each of his full seasons in charge. He's followed by the managers of Freiburg, Liverpool, Atalanta and Manchester City. He has been here for such a long time now, and of course won the league as an Atletico player in the 90s. It is the home team in possession here on the near side of the Celtic box. The Atleti right comes back to Koke, crosses in. Hartcombe doesn't get there, but Carter Vickers heads it clear. Atletico have it back. So dogged. Celtic are just not getting a chance. Then comes the cross ball. It's flicked half away, and the overhead kick finds the net from Antoine Griezmann, who scores yet again and celebrates down in this near side. An outstanding bicycle kick finish from the France international. That's what you get from a World Cup winner. Antoine Griezmann makes it Atletico Madrid 3, 10-man Celtic 0. And what can you do about that?
Yeah, there's not much you can do about it. It's an incredible finish from Griezmann. Atletico have more been putting crosses into the box now. They'll be getting those overloads at the back post for Celtic. They've managed to clear a few of them over the last 5 or 10 minutes or so, and they managed to get this one. A Celtic player get ahead on it, but it drops to Griezmann, and in a flash, you know, he just gets a bicycle kick, overhead kick into the net. Joe Hart, absolutely no chance. Again, just showing his quality. Comes from Atletico, having that overload down that side, putting Celtic under real pressure where they can't get the ball clear properly, and they're punished in this occasion. It's a tremendous finish from Griezmann.
Well, that third Atletico goal has moved Brendan Rodgers to make another change. David Turnbull is going to come on. He's going to replace Bernardo. There is a goal check going on here, incidentally. The VAR before the game gets back underway. And there is talk there was an offside potentially here. So we'll wait and see if this goal will stand. Griezmann will hope it does. Let's go quickly to McDermott Park, Andy.
St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 2. Mika Bireth has come up with the equaliser, and to be honest, Liam, it's no more than Motherwell deserved. They've been a team transformed in this second half, and all of a sudden St Johnstone look vulnerable. It's all square at McDermott Park, 15 to go.
Well, they're still checking this goal here, Faddy.
I'd love to be able to see what they're checking.
That's been given. It's been given. Goal stands. And 3-0 it is. And David Turnbull's come on for Kyogo in the midst of all that. I think Yang's come on as well. So yeah, Bernardo off for Turnbull, and Yang has come on for Kyogo. And Celtic will focus on Aberdeen in the league on Sunday. Their next European game is in Rome against Lazio, with a combination of results in Group E so far, with Lazio leading Feyenoord 1-0, is not good for Celtic, because whilst the Lazio win that, they wouldn't be knocked out officially of the Champions League tonight. It makes their bid to finish third so much harder.
Yeah, Celtic had to get something from the game tonight for me. They had to get a draw at least. And you know, it's been a tough night for them. I think 11v11 they had a chance, even though they go down when they have 11 men. But since they've gone to 10, you know, they've had really no chance of getting back into the game. And when you talk about, you know, the opposition you're facing and the quality, you know, Atletico go down to 10 men against Celtic. They still manage to make it difficult. They still manage to get a result out of it. And at times that's the difference. I think as soon as Celtic go down to 10 men, you think, well, game over. Can they potentially go and squeeze in and get an equaliser? But they're not exactly a team that defends and absorbs pressure. Although at times they've had to do it tonight and they've done it really well. The quality's just shown for Atletico.
Yang attacking the right-hand side there, but his ball in field is cut out. And it's back in Atletico possession over on the far side. Celtic though with a throw-in, which is taken quickly. Atletico are going to make a double change in a minute. Here's Callum McGregor, meantime, he's given it away. Really slack from the Celtic skipper, straight to Morata. In the centre circle he is. Flicks it to his right for Correa. Llorente away to his right-hand side. Short to Llorente. Back to Koke. Then to Llorente again, 63 on the clock. 3-0 Atletico. Here's Llorente. Rolls it into Koke, about level the edge of the D of the Celtic penalty area. Back the way to Witsel in the midfield. And he works a quick 1-2 there with Hermoso. And then out to Griezmann, to Hermoso again. Hermoso likes to get forward, doesn't he? He's one of the 3 centre-backs. He's been doing what Kieran Tierney does so well for the Scotland national team. Here's Correa at the edge of the Celtic box, looks up, shoots wide, well wide in the end. And it will remain at 3-0 to Atletico.
Yeah, but he does really well. Correa picks the ball up, looks like he's going to have a shot with his right foot, fakes it, drags it inside. And earlier on I asked, could he hit it with his left foot and maybe give himself a better opportunity? He goes for power, he doesn't try and bend it, he goes for power. and it goes pretty well wide of the target.
And finally, some good news for Celtic. Antoine Griezmann's coming off. The two players coming on. Well, for Griezmann, Saul Niguez and Samuel Lino, who's just back from injury. He's a Brazilian. And another excellent player. And Lino comes onto the pitch to replace Riquelme, his like-for-like change. And it's with Joe Hart, who plays it short to Carter Vickers. So remember, 2-2 now in Perth. That game's in Johnstone, Motherwell. What a comeback that is for the Steelmen. Beereth goal. So 2-2 in the Premiership. 3-0 here in the Champions League. 1-0 Feyenoord. Sorry, 1-0 Lazio over Feyenoord in Rome, as Correa goes back to Koke and out to this near side. Molina. Side football into Correa. He can't control. O's on to it now. And picked up on this near side by Yang, but he runs into trouble. It's one back there by Correa, who goes back to Witsel. And then he shifts it right to left of the centre circle for Hermoso. And out to Lino, who gets his first touch. He's moving it back to Hermoso and then into the centre circle for Koke. Still 25 minutes left of this game. Celtic could be doing without it, to be honest. And here come Atletico with Llorente, right-hand side of the box. Little chip ball in, headed away by Johnstone. Breaks to the edge of the area. The shot from Koke was scuffed. Loose ball is Lino. Oh, what a goal that is! It's a stunning finish. Samuel Lino, who's just on the pitch, fires home. Left-hand side of the box. Right foot, top right corner of the net. Joe Hart hasn't got a prayer to get into that. And it's Atletico Madrid 4, Celtic 0.
That's a tremendous goal from Lino. Again, it's a cross ball in. Celtic can't quite manage to get it clear. They work it to Lino out on the left-hand side. Drops his shoulder, cuts inside Alistair Johnson. He does it so quickly, and he bends it with a real bit of power on it, pace, to take it beyond Joe Hart into the side net, and he's got absolutely no chance. Some real quality in that goal there, Liam.
Trying to outdo Griezmann's overhead scissors kick that made it 3-0. Griezmann came off, he thought that was a threat gone. Well, Lino has just shown how big a threat he can be as he fires it home. James just getting a chance to look at a replay of it. It's just magnificent, isn't it?
It's tremendous. He shifts it onto his right, and he's almost hitting it from behind Alistair Johnson and Joe Hart's viewpoint. He doesn't need a lot of room. He doesn't shift it a yard. He shifts it half a yard and hits, and he does it so quick that it's coming from behind Alistair Johnson almost. Joe Hart, even if he does see it, I don't think he's saving it, but it's an incredible goal.
Simeone's down there as the conductor, looking after the orchestra down there as he turned to the fans, waving his arms around as they celebrated that Lino goal that's made it 4. And this still has a quarter of it to play out in front of us here. This is going to be so difficult for Celtic to prevent Atletico piling on the goals and piling on the misery here.
Yeah, it is, because they look hungry for goals. Some of the play has been excellent.
Yeah, here they come again. Llorente, little ball to Correa, off the post, and clear by McGregor. This is a tough old watch for the Celtic fans now. That was a really good bit of play again, and Correa, well, he's done everything but score there. It stays 4-0 on 68.
That's a great effort again. You know, the first time pass into his path, that little diagonal ball in towards the near post. Correa's on the run. He doesn't have to break stride. He just snapshot, hits it first time, takes Joe Hart by surprise. And, you know, for Celtic, thankfully, to see it come back off the post. But they are in the mood to score goals, Atletico. There's still a lot of time left, but they look like a team that, when they go forward, they're dangerous every single time. They're looking to create, and they've almost created a chance every time they've went forward.
That's the problem for Celtic, isn't it? Because sometimes when teams are so in control of a game and playing against 10 men, they're already 2 or 3-0 up. You see them just drop down the gears and then refocus on their next match. It doesn't look to be the case for Atletico this evening. They maybe feel they've got something to prove, having lost last Friday in Las Palmas, and I think that might be driving them on as well to try and blow Celtic away here. There's going to be more changes which we will get to in a moment. A change for both teams. Iwata's going to come on for Celtic, who are up the pitch here with O at the edge of the penalty area. Runs into trouble,
Just
loses
look
it.
at the bodies round them, though.
4 or 5 round them.
I mean, it looked...
That's half the outfield players round them.
Exactly. And that's a team that's 4-0 up and cruising it. But it's a good early pass from home to O. And he just wants to get a bit of space to get his shot away. He's not looking to take people on and get into the box. He's just looking for a bit of space, and he can't get it. He's forced to go back the way when he's got a chance to potentially shoot. And he's got 4 or 5 Atletico bodies round him, crowding him out to win the ball back. And now we're just back to the almost default position of this second half. Every single Celtic player in their half, trying to defend their box, and Atletico just controlling the ball and going forward at ease.
Atletico are going to bring on the veteran Cesar Azpilicueta. Most notable part of his career would have been his time at Chelsea, and he's coming on in just a moment. Carter Vickers is forced to concede the corner, but I think the referee has given Celtic a free kick on that occasion inside their own box. 20 minutes to play. Here come the changes, and Iwata is going to replace McGregor, and the Atletico change presumably will be Molina to come off here. It is, and Azpilicueta will replace him. He's 34 years of age now. He's Azpilicueta, captain Chelsea to that Champions League win in 2020 against Manchester City in Portugal. A proper player. And well, he's in the twilight of his career, but James clearly still operating at the very top level. And he'll be hoping to add to that Champions League medal count.
Yeah, he will. You know, I think that, you know, Azpilicueta had a brilliant career at Chelsea, and now he's come to a team where, I know you're saying he's in the twilight, it's not a team you come to wind down at because of the amount of work you have to put in. Obviously, coming off the bench, you'll be looking to have an impact and be that, you know, Atletico have had so much success over the years of bringing in, you know, older players that people may be looking at and thinking they're past their best, and managing to squeeze the last drops of quality and you know, real, you know, performance levels out of them, and they've had success in winning leagues and winning cups doing it. So yeah, I think that, you know, it's a player that Simeone will feel can get the best out of. The difficult is, you know, they're really strong in that position. You know, Molina's a top class operator as well, but Azpilicueta brings that experience, that know-how of winning big trophies as well.
Yeah, take off a World Cup winner and put on a Champions League winner recently in Azpilicueta, who played over 500 times for Chelsea. And it's been an illustrious club career. 2 English Premier League titles, Champions League, 2 Europa Leagues, a Super Cup. As Atletico pick up over on the left-hand side with Hermoso. It's now, just with the changes being made there, it's just the pace has gone out of the game. Atletico knocking the ball around, 4-0 up and cruising to 3 points, unbeaten in this section. And the scoreline in Rome remains 1-0 Lazio. That Immobile goal just before half-time making all the difference, and the as it stands table will have Atletico sitting top on 8 points, Lazio 7, Feyenoord 6, Celtic 1. Rome up next for the Scottish champions. Given Champions League last 16 was always going to be a tall order, and the group was produced in the draw. Clearly it was a difficult ask for them, but particularly the opening few matches where they failed to pick up a 3-pointer, and you're always up against it. You're having to come to Madrid and get a result. It was always the gap with the Scotland national team. When you lost a home game, you had to go chasing the 3 points elsewhere.
Well, I think when you're in the group and the draw was made, you're thinking, look, it's a tough group, but it's achievable to get out of the group and into the, you know, the last 16.
There's a chance for Azpilicueta down the right-hand side. Gets the break of the ball off Turnbull. On the slide, he forces it back to Llorente, level with the penalty spot. Knocked up, blocked by Holm. Atletico continue down this right-hand side. They've pinched it back quickly here through Saul, who crosses and flicked away by Iwata.
But the last point I was going to make is, when you're coming to Madrid knowing that you need to get something, tells you, you know, the campaign hasn't gone as well as you would like, and Celtic have had chances to do better in it.
Azpilicueta on the right gets his cross in, headed away by Holm, picked up by Yang, goes back to Iwatao, clears up towards O, over on the far side. He can't keep it in play though, and it's out for a throw into Atletico, who are going to make another change here, and it's player Brendan Rodgers knows well, Çağlar Söyüncü, the Turkish international. It's part of Rodgers' Leicester City team, who won the FA Cup and progressed to the business end of the Conference League a couple of seasons ago. And he's just getting one last word from his manager down below us. Pick up through Lino, who got the fourth goal. Reversing it to Saul. Rolls it back to Hermoso, and now it's with Koke, just outside the centre circle. Clips it out wide left again. Lino's onto it, the left angle of the box, having got it from Saul. Looking for room to potentially cross here. Turns it back to the left angle for Hermoso, who finds Lino. 15 to play. It's going to be a long old 15 minutes for the Celtic fans, this.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's going to be a long old last 15 minutes for the players as well, because they're not getting a chance to get on the ball. When they do, it's a hopeful one in behind for O or Yang to chase. They're not really getting, you know, possession. All they're doing is shuffling across, working, trying to put pressure on, trying to defend crosses.
Chance at the edge of the penalty area here. The shot! Oh, what a goal! Morata has just sent an absolute rocket into the top left corner. Past a stricken heart. His second, and Atletico's fifth. And the goals just seem to keep getting better for them. It's Atletico Madrid 5, 10-man Celtic 0, and Brendan Rodgers is heading for another big defeat in the Champions League.
Well, what a strike it is from Morata. Speaking about Celtic not getting on the ball, having to defend crosses, there's another cross that comes in, and it is defended, but it's not cleared, and it drops to Morata, takes a touch onto his left foot, catches it in the half volley, fires it beyond Joe Hart. It's an incredible strike. Again, another player showing his quality. It's actually a great layoff from Lino. He makes that run from wide left inside. Carter Vickers is trying to put him under pressure. He just chases it into the path. Alvaro Morata is in the D, takes a touch with his right foot onto his left, quick as you like, smashes it beyond Joe Hart. It's another incredible goal.
Jimenez off, Söyüncü is on, and a huge section of the Celtic support is gone. Left after the fourth. I don't think there's even half of them left up there off to our left. As it bounces off O and out for a throw-in on this near side. Look, Atletico might have scored 5 goals if Celtic had 11 players on the pitch. We'll never know. And this game was all the harder for the visitors when Daisen Maeda was ordered off when they were already 1-0 down.
Yeah, I don't think it's had, you can't say, as you say, a massive bearing on the actual result of the game. But I think that Celtic would have had a better chance, clearly, with 11 players and that balance, because even though they went down at 1-0, they still had the ball, they were still playing their way, they were still creating opportunities down the right-hand side, probably more so than the left, but they had that shape and that identity that, you know, Brendan Rodgers speaks about how he wants his team to play. But when you go into, you know, 10 men against a top-class side, and we know they're, you know, a defensive-minded side, and they're happy defending, their use of the ball has been outstanding, and the tactical awareness in this game has been magnificent, because how often do we hear it's not easy to play against 10 men? Well, Atletico Madrid are absolutely loving playing against 10 men, but they're doing it right, and that is what you need, proper attitude, and they've shown that with some real quality.
Lino at the edge of the penalty area, he shapes to shoot again, and he almost scores again. Hart dive to his left, he's off target, goes past the right-hand post, and it will stay at 5-0 for now. This game cannot end quickly enough for Celtic right now.
Yeah, again, Lino fakes to go on the left, drops onto the right, goes for this similar type of technique as the one that he scored from, this time from a central position. Joe Hart was at full stretch, and it goes wide. The ball goes wide, it's gone out for a goal kick for Celtic, and Koke's in the middle of the park, just telling everyone to squeeze up. They all kind of automatically default into a defensive shape. He's telling them to squeeze up and try and stop Celtic from playing out. Atletico are hungry for more goals. They want this. I mean, it has been resounding victory for them. They want more. They want to go and punish Celtic and show how good they are going forward as well.
Celtic have suffered some of their heaviest European defeats in the Champions League in the last decade. 5-0 at home to Paris Saint-Germain, 7-1 in the French capital, 6-1 and 7-0 in Barcelona. 3 of those under Rodgers, 1 under Lennon. And it's just so difficult in this tournament. So Hermoso picks up on the far side, and then Lino to Hermoso, and he flicks it back the way. Atletico looking to pile on the misery here. It's Axel Witsel on the halfway line. Walking pace into the Celtic half. Comes out to Azpilicueta on this right-hand side. Attacking the Celtic box. Roll back to Witsel. And infield to Koke. Then to Witsel, to Koke again. Switching the play to the left. Saul Niguez out to the left-hand side. In comes the deep cross from Hermoso. That bounces behind for the goal kick. And with 10 to play of the 90, it's Atletico Madrid 5, Celtic 0. Look, James, this is another example of how difficult it is in this competition for Celtic, who bossed things at home for so long now. They now find that this stepping up a level is so difficult, and whilst being down to 10 men is a reason, because they perform well in the Champions League this season. In that first half, they perform well tonight. But this is what they do to domestic opponents. This is what they get when they come into the Champions League. How can you bridge that gap?
I mean, it's tough because people look at results, and of course it's a results business, and that's where you have to look. Apart from tonight, Celtic played well within this group, but they're ultimately, they're on 1 point. They're on the end of a heavy defeat tonight. They've had chances at certain moments in games. There's been moments in games which have cost them, and that is the difference. When you step up to that level, you can't be making mistakes, going down to 10 men, 9 men, and then still expecting to go and win games. It's so difficult. I think the overall quality is of course higher, and look, you have to praise Celtic to an extent. They've come into these games, every single one of them, with the intention of playing the same way. They've done it. They've had good spells in those games, but ultimately they're up against a higher level opposition that they don't mind if you go and play, because they'll play their way against you as well, and they believe they've got better players than you.
There's Llorente turning it back to the edge of the Celtic box for Correa, who'll feel he deserves a goal tonight. That's Azpilicueta to Llorente to Correa inside the Celtic box. Faced by Scales, drags the ball away from Liam Scales, back to Koke. Square ball to Witsel, to Koke again, and out to Azpilicueta on this near side. Works the 1-2 with Llorente, and then back into the midfield for Koke.
I think the other thing, you look at, Atletico have made changes that have had a positive impact on their side. I'm not saying it's very difficult, for Celtic players to have any kind of impact, but look at the team that's finishing the game as opposed to the one that Celtic would put out as the strongest to go and get a result. Yeah. And that is, where Celtic are at the minute. I think they've got a really strong 11, 12, 13 where you'd be happy enough with whoever was playing in it.
Azpilicueta to Correa, Scales just enough to get it away from the Argentinian. Yang loses out to Koke. There's no way out for Celtic right now. Lino out to Hermoso, taking on Johnstone, crossing in, too high though for Correa, who was on the 6-yard line. It's picked up by Azpilicueta on this near side. Back up the line to Witsel, then back to Soyuncu. He shifts it into the centre circle and gets it back immediately. There's a little ball through towards Llorente. Llorente's got Morata to his left. Llorente goes himself, and Hart holds on. Morata was to his left, and he's on a hat-trick as well. And it will stay Atletico 5, 10-man Celtic 0 on 83 minutes. Must be getting towards full-time, if not full-time already at McDermott. Andy Burke.
It is full-time, Liam, and it ends St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 2. St Johnstone had it all their way in the first half. Goals from Nicky Clark and Andy Considine looked to have them on easy street, but Shane Blaney hit back as Motherwell come out the blocks, inspired in the second half, and they got what they deserved. Mika Beereth following home the leveller to make it 2-0. Both sides had chances to win it. Neither could find the winning goal, and it ends a point apiece here. St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 2.
Atletico in possession here with Witsel. Big point that for Motherwell. It's not a win, and they're 8 without one now, but they've been 2-0 down. As Llorente gets it from Azpilicueta at the byline, pulls it back. Lino on the volley, and then it breaks to Saul, who knocks it home, and into the roof of the net it goes. Celtic have nowhere to hide here in the Metropolitano. Solniguez with the effort, which goes past heart. And Celtic have been hit for 6 here in the Spanish capital. Atletico Madrid 6, Celtic 0.
Yeah, well, I think for parts of the game, Celtic have defended very well on this occasion. The ball is another deep cross to the back post. It looks like Morata's going to go for the overhead kick. Leno hits it first time, and Sal is in the back post, unmarked. He actually misses the first opportunity where you're thinking that's a bad miss. Catches the ball under his feet, and then in the follow-up, he just flicks it into the top of the net, the roof of the net. I think some of the Celtic players are looking, hoping that he's offside. He's not, and it's 6 now for Celtic. They wanted the whistle 20 minutes ago, but they'd love for it to go right now.
Another night of Champions League ignominy for Celtic. Scales finds Turnbull, who goes down, but no foul. One back by Azpilicueta. The subs have come on, they freshen Atletico up, and they're just giving Celtic an absolute chasing here.
Yeah, they have. They have. I think it's been the case, particularly for this second half. You know, for Atletico, they've used the ball brilliantly. They've got, you know, at this point in time, almost 6 players on the Celtic backline to try and go and get another goal. And you know, the subs coming on, as you say, has brought that freshness. The hunger is always there. The willingness to go forward and create chances and score goals. Have looked really dangerous. But again, just showing the quality, the players that they've brought on, the performance levels that they've shown. For Celtic, it's been really tough because most of their work's been without the ball. And when they've managed to get the ball back, they've given it away almost instantly. So it's just been waves of attack this second half. And the players that have come on, you know, they're coming on to, you know, get the experience of playing in games like this, but to try and keep you the ball. Yang and O barely touched it. They haven't been able to get, you know, any kind of touches of the ball, any threat. O had one round about the edge of the box 5 minutes ago or so. Apart from that, they've offered very little going forward, and for me, you have to credit Atletico for how they've managed the game.
Ciro Immobile's goal just before half-time as Lazio 1-0 up against Feyenoord into the closing stages in the Olimpico, where Celtic will go next in a few weeks' time. Their hopes of finishing third are still there, despite this, as Llorente gets the ball across and almost found Lino, and it goes behind the reverse side of the goal frame for a goal kick. So we approach 87 minutes. Atletico 6-0 up here, and they're 1 goal away from handing Celtic a record-equalling defeat here.
Yeah, and they're going for it. Again, it's a brilliant cross from Llorente. Just flashes it across behind the defence, and Lino makes a late run. He's playing as a left wing back, or well, he's almost come on as a left winger, but he's making the run that a centre forward would make. Almost gets on the end of it. Atletico are hungry for goals. They're not going to just see this game out. They want another goal, and if they get another one, they want another one. It's just the way they've been in this second half. They've been absolutely relentless.
Yeah, Celtic chasing shadows. Into the midfield it comes towards Llorente, one back by O. But he can't find a teammate, and Correa will find Azpilicueta on this near side. Infield to Llorente. Now it is Koke and Witsel who turns it out to Azpilicueta on this near side. There's been some reaction by Atletico to their defeat last Friday on Gran Canaria. Koke slips it out to Lino over on that far side, taking on Odenholm. Left-hand side of the box. Gets an overlap. Then comes the cross ball, and it's headed behind for the corner by Turnbull. Atletico come again, looking for a 7th.
Down the left-hand side this time. No surprise they're getting a cross in position. No surprise they have an overload at the back post. David Turnbull reads it really well and clears it. But Celtic were hoping the scoring's finished, but Atletico are desperate to go and get that seventh goal.
And they're hoping there's not too much stoppage time added on at the end here. Koke takes a short corner. It's going to go out of Yang for another one immediately. And it's Koke on this near side. Plenty empty seats across the whole stadium just now, apart from behind Joe Hart's goal, where the Atletico ultras are housed. There's Azpilicueta out to Lino on this right-hand side. Rolls it back infield for Saul. who got the 6th. Out to Azpilicueta, and then to Koke, to Saul again. Turnbull putting the pressure on. He's eased it out to that left-hand side. So Yunchu's up helping in a left winger position just now. Morata for support.
Witzel's in the centre-forward position.
Well, he's in the box now as the cross comes right-hand side. Azpilicueta pulls it across and Hart beats it away low. And Celtic get it clear. We're in the 90th minute as O turns his man up the other end. But so Yunchu gets back at him. The referee didn't like the challenge though. It's a free kick to Celtic, and so Yunchu's going to be yellow carded as well.
It's good play from O. Diagonal from Greg Taylor, and O's 1v1. By the time he controls it and faces the Atletico goal, he's 1v4 again. The desire, the application of these players to get back in and defend 6-0 up, it would be easy for them to say, well,
2 minutes
leave him 1v1, he might get a shot away, he'll probably defend it. No, they want to get back in, showing that hunger to defend again.
It's an equal second worst European defeat for Celtic. Will sit alongside the 7-1 in Paris. As Piliqueta prepares to take a throw in here, he bowls it back to Witzel. Then he rolls it to Soyuncu because Celtic could do nothing with the free kick.
And that's been the story of the half, the story of the game for Celtic. It's certainly been in this second half where they haven't been able to really create anything, they haven't been able to use the ball well. And again, I'm going to put that down to the amount of work they've had to put in and the sheer quality and work rate from Atletico.
Llorente slipping it to the right-hand side of the box for Correa, who wins the corner off Scales. In stoppage time, as I said, there 2 minutes only was added by the Slovakian referee, whose controversial call to send off Daizen Maeda after the VAR check, the on-field review, made things so much more difficult for Brendan Rodgers' team. Koke takes a short corner to Azpilicueta. Now with Koke, one club man, the Atletico captain. He's on it, level the edge of the D, at walking pace. Moves it in field, gets it back immediately, and then shifts it to Hermoso. Clever dink ball into the area. It's taken down by Saul on the spin. Lovely play, little cross into the box. The 6-yard area. Evades Hart, but it's cleared from the far side. He eventually comes out to Iwata. Yang then loses it, and Axel Witzel's on it. And this is the closing few seconds. Celtic's torture is almost over, but the pain will be felt, that's for sure. This is a seismic scoreline. There's no getting away from that, despite the troubles that they had. That's it all over as Simeone darts straight for the tunnel. The final whistle goes in the Metropolitano. Chastening night for Celtic, that's for sure. They were up against it from the start, against one of the big dogs of European football here. And they were a goal down inside 6 minutes. Antoine Griezmann's effort found the bottom right corner. And then Maeda sent off in 23, barely a quarter of the game gone. And Celtic were reduced to 10 men. A yellow was initially flashed at Maeda before the VAR intervened. And after the on-field review, it was upgraded to red. And Celtic, already a goal down, were a man down as well. And just when they thought they were getting into half-time, just one behind, Morata made it 2. And the second half, well, Brendan Rodgers will want to shelve the second half because actually they played relatively well in the first half, even with 10 men. It was a decent enough performance away from home at one of the more difficult venues that they will visit. And Atletico took a little bit of time before they got the third. Griezmann got it with a bicycle kick on the hour mark. Fabulous goal. The goals seemed to get better from that moment. Lino with an outstanding finish, seconds after coming on 66, before Morata got his second on 76, with a thundering finish from the edge of the penalty area. And Saul Niguez completed the scoring and completed Celtic's miserable night on 85 minutes. 2 attempts at the finish, eventually sent it into the roof of the net, and it is a equal second worst European scoreline for Celtic. The players applauding the Celtic fans who are left inside the stadium. Many headed for the exits when the fourth one went in. It finished here in the Metropolitano. Metropolitano in the Spanish capital. Atletico Madrid 6, 10-man Celtic 0.
Celtic in the Champions League.